The right to offend is not some pesky little part of freedom of speech that we have to put up with. It is the heart and soul and lungs of freedom of speech. It is the coursing lifeblood of human progress. It is the instigator of liberty and modernity and science and understanding. What a laughing stock today's student leaders are, that they can so casually dismiss the right to be offensive without realizing that their lovely, enlightened lives are the gift of individuals who gave offense. Offensiveness is not just something we have to begrudgingly accept. Offensiveness is the motor of human progress.
Now broadcasting from the Right to Offend Media Studios in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, art, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report Live with Sam Whitfield.
But giving offense is good. In fact, it's essential.
You know, it's been a long time coming, ladies and gentlemen, but I just have to say, I've been right about Nick Fuentes for 10 years, and finally, everybody believes me. This is what I was saying to Max and Mort before we began the show. RTO Media is usually so far ahead of the curve on these types of cultural things that it's really it's kind of amazing, honestly.
It's scary.
Yeah, but we forget too.
Yeah,
it's a given on here that Nick Fuentes is eventually going to come out of two closets. We got one of them this week.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the important one. Here's the reality, Sam. Everybody thought when he said he was, when people were saying he came out, that's the joke, right? Because everybody expected him to say he was gay. But him coming out as openly saying he's been a Democrat, he is a Democrat, and he will support Democrats going forward is more consequential to us because we have said that he is a subversive plant on the right, quote unquote, before we even knew each other.
Yes.
Yep.
And we've been consistent about that on this show. We've also pointed out, subsequent, aside from that, he's not much of a man either.
That's true too. And I don't know you, but I've gotten shit from people who are like, oh well, he's not that bad, and you should embrace his audience because I think that you two have a lot in common. And it's like, no, when your entire audience's thing is
he can embrace these nuts.
Yeah.
No, wait, he'd like that. Never mind.
Yeah, no.
You can stay away from my nuts.
Yeah, that's a hard pass. That's a hard pass. So
theoretically, though, the theoretical.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nick, I don't swing that way.
Yeah, but no, I mean, last week's episode was titled Vindication, and I almost feel like we could do Vindication Part 3. But Malarkey, Max, that's what we had. I've decided that that's what we have to deal with every week is just malarkey. We've got the malarkey of Fuentes coming out as a Dem. We've got I don't know if you
said Owens and the palm pistols and all this nonsense. What else? What other malarkeys out there these days?
Oh,
Kamala Harris has a 50% polling for a Democratic primary. You know who comes in second, Sam, at 22%? Gavin Newsom. Needless to say, 2028 is going to be another fucking R win if that's what they're actually going to muster.
Yes. Also, speaking of Kamala Harris.
Fuck Kamala Harris.
Speaking of Kamala Harris and the Democrats too, you'll like this, Mac, because the last time we talked about Karen Bass on the show, the mayor of LA, the woman who let the city burn because she was in Africa, and you and I got a lot of flack for calling that out. It's now been discovered that basically she used state funds to put up anti-ICE signs And
Shocking. And that's probably not the most legal thing in the world to do, huh?
no, it's not. And I know it's Los Angeles, but there's that Republican Spencer Pratt who is running for mayor in LA. And I even saw people like Tora Wilson
Now
tweet
that you
LA.
said in LA, it makes sense, but I was thinking of that name. Spencer Pratt was the most like douchebaggy name I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
No
Yeah, I
offense to
mean,
the man. I don't know anything else other than the name. Am I wrong?
No.
Like, you're a girl in college and you're like, there's the frat boys over there. That's Tony. That's Jacob. There's Spencer.
yeah.
Spencer what? Spencer Pratt. Ah, his dad's a lawyer, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know. Who names their kid? I will say this: millennials name their kids that kind of shit. Did you know Clavicular's real name is Braden?
Yes.
No
Yes.
cat. For real, on God, motherfucker's name is Braden.
Bro's name is Brayden.
Braden. You know what we would have done with a Braden in my day, Sam? He'd
Shoved
have
him
gone
in
in the top. You know those lockers where there's a bottom and a top?
He'd have gotten
Braden
stuck in
would
the
go in the
locker.
top.
Yeah.
Braden would get gum in his hair, specifically.
Braden would get swirlies too, probably.
Yeah, and he'd have
Goddamn right.
Caden, Aiden, and Jaden help give him a swirly.
Yeah. I knew
What is it with fucking millennial and Zoomer women and naming all of their kids some variation of Aiden, Jaden, Braden, Caden? Can they come up with anything else for a boy? Whatever happened to a good old fashioned name like, I don't know, Max?
Yeah, or Sam or
Sam.
Chris or some
Or Mort. You don't see a lot of Morts these days. That's a real name, Sam. Why are you laughing? I had an Uncle Mort.
It's too Jewish.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily a Jewish name.
Oh, I know.
No. What about a name like Craig?
Well, that's pretty common. Craig's one of those ones. I mean, look,
Yeah.
you got Craig on South Park. He flips off the principal. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I once flipped off the principal, Sam.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I got the cops called on me on account of I was 28 and he was retired and it was at his house. But I flipped off the principal.
That is fucking cool.
Broken. Fuck you, old man. It's like, who are you?
Yeah, that's one of those things where he didn't remember you, but you remembered him.
I say that, but the vice principal in charge of punishing me actually died of a heart attack shortly after I left.
So what you're saying is you drove him, you stressed him out so much that his heart just gave out.
I'm not going to say I didn't contribute to that on account of how red he would turn sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Usually he didn't get reports when it came to me because I was good about just going to the office when I got told to. It's just the parts before that where I'm supposed to de-escalate. I was bad at that. So like they'd be like, go to the office. I'd be like, all right, cool. I'm just sitting at his desk with my feet up, sitting there. He doesn't have any paperwork. He didn't get any calls. And he walks in and his face, that vein in his forehead, Sam. when he saw me with my feet. Like, I'd be sitting in his chair with my feet on his desk. So I understand now why this would bother him. And he would just be like, Max, why are you sitting at my desk? And I'd be like, look, man, I told the lady in biology class that she was a cunt. But in my defense, she was being a cunt.
I mean, I don't know why he would, you know, suspend you over that. That seems perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. Well, I got in school for that particular one. Then there was the time where I tried to, we were having a chair fight, me and my friend, you know, like with folded chair, like wrestling.
Yeah.
You hit me in the forehead as hard as you can. I'll hit you in the forehead, you know, and see who breaks. Guy shit. And teacher comes walking in and she's like, what are you guys doing? And I was like, having a chair fight. You want to play? I got suspended for that. Apparently that was I was handing her the chair to hit me, but I got suspended for threatening a teacher. Let's go let the teacher hit me in the head with a chair and I get in trouble.
I almost got suspended for once telling a teacher that I thought that Obama was retarded. I say almost because I got
you're not wrong.
Well, here's the funnier thing. So I got sent to the dean, and come to find out, the dean was super based and was like, listen, I agree with you, Sam, but you can't be saying,
You can't say that.
you can't be saying like you know, shout out to, I don't even want to say his name, but shout out Mr. I know he listens to the show. So you know, I appreciate you having my back against all the cat lady teachers. But yeah.
Down with the
We need, I wish you were a teacher instead of a dean. I would have probably done way better had you been like my history teacher.
I got another quick good one. I got suspended, Sam, for farting. It's true.
I also totally believe that.
So we're in like English,
Why am I
I
not
think it was.
surprised, Max?
No, we're in English class, and somebody else that was not me, for the record, officially, okay? I didn't break the first wind. But what I did was when somebody farted, nobody knew who it was. It was one of those really loud ones, and it stunk. And everybody started gagging and also laughing hysterically. And the teacher's trying to maintain control of the class. And of course, as luck would have it, I feel one coming on. And I'm like, but I didn't do that first one. But I don't think it's going to matter. And I'm holding it in, and everybody's like laughing. Teacher's like, calm down, everybody calm down. He opens the doors, you know, opens windows. All right, we got to move on, guys. And it took so long. I've the whole time felt like an eternity until finally I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Way louder than I had bargained for. And the teacher was just like, Max, to the office. And I was like, I'm going.
You know, it's the ones that you always try and hold back are like the worst too.
That's right. Well, that's why you try and hold them back to begin with, but to no avail. And so, hey, whoever got that first one in, I gotta give them credit. Like, they got away with it. It was one of the nastiest nuclear smelling farts I'd ever fucking smelled in my life to this day. and then I got suspended for it. Mine was loud, but it wasn't like the stinker that cleared the fucking room.
The
I
SPDs are
reckon
the
that
greatest.
person ate a lot of fiber.
I mean, fiber's good for you. We know this.
Yeah, well, until you're stinking at the classroom.
Uh,
They'd subsisted off of nothing but fiber and baked beans for months, Sam, and dead animals.
now I just fart in my home office.
Yes.
One time I had
With
to
the
fart
door
at the
open or
pot
closed?
shop, but luckily I made it through the line. Because that would be embarrassing, you know? Place is always packed, too.
That would be super embarrassing. And speaking of super embarrassing things, I just got rumbled, so I will be right back.
Oh no! Rumbled. Some bitch.
He's getting rumbled like a... Well, I was gonna say a furry's butthole, but I feel like that might be too far. Sam's getting rumbled left and right.
What? I mean, obviously it can't be too. Obviously, you couldn't have taken things too far. We haven't even gotten into the too far territory yet.
That's true. So
We'll
okay,
get there.
Nick Fuentes proved us right. Do we get to how big of a bitch Tucker looks like these days?
Oh yeah, I was just about ready
Yes.
to pull. I was just about ready to pull that clip up. Actually, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's. I mean, when. So here's the thing. When everyone knows I dislike the New York Times like immensely. I think cysts are preferable to the New York Times, but when the New York Times makes you look like an idiot because you are an idiot, you know that's bad. So
No,
I
you fucked
actually,
up.
yeah,
It's a shame for a lot of guys like him because what Tucker and some of these other guys are trying to do in being a voice for anti-interventionism on its face might seem noble, but it's the way they grift about it that's so fucking off-putting to me. Because it's so blatantly obvious they're not just there just because they love peace.
right. In their whole thing with the anti-interventionism thing, it's not. It's the sad thing is a lot of these anti-Semites claim to be anti-interventionists when they're really not. They're just it's thing of
Well,
what
look, I will give it that some people come to their positions on that side because they're foreign policy, and it helps to understand where they're coming from, and I understand that they feel it's so important. The thing I find in arguments with them is my perspective of the weight of Israel's pull in this world, which is not zero as they seem to.
right.
Unless you think they run everything, you're just obviously think they have no sway at all. Whereas I say, yeah, they have too much influence on us, but so does China, so does Russia, so does the SPLC apparently, so
Right.
did fucking Meta, so does Tucker Carlson. There's plenty
Well,
of people with too much goddamn say around this place that aren't me.
that's my main problem, right? Is you can point to a lot of different things, like you said, China, social media. I would even argue, you know,
Boomers, just generally speaking.
boomers. Well, also like the drug cartels and
There's
things
a good
like
one. Yeah, like
like
what? See, people are like, so like you have propaganda, and because you don't agree with me. Everything you like is propaganda. It's like, bitch, everything you see is propaganda.
Right.
If you
So,
think one thing is and one thing isn't, you're already not playing the right game.
so, um, so this lady from the New York Times, who, as you will see, looks like basically like the character of like a Brooklyn, like, Karen,
Right.
uh, leftoid. She basically called Tucker out on his contradictions all throughout it was like a 2-hour
Real
interview.
quick, Sam, sorry. I just want to say shout out to Apex and Joe in the chat. What's up, boys?
Yeah, what's up?
I just noticed it. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. Shout out to both of them, and also I'll be opening up the caller queue as well. So here in a bit. So if people want to call in, we'll do that. But yeah, this whole interview was basically just this, you know, journo calling him out on his contradiction, and then Tucker being like, "I didn't say that," and this is only about 20 seconds, but this is what the entire 2-hour interview basically
Okay. And they
was
side
like.
by sided it from a month apart to drive it home, which is brutal. Let's go.
Yeah, well, that's what the Milk Bar TV guy did, but still, it is pretty brutal.
You've been
So-
talking on your show about whether Trump is the Antichrist.
I have not said that.
On your show, the day after Easter, you noted he did not put his hand on the Bible during his swearing-in
Correct.
ceremony as president. You said, and I'm quoting, maybe he didn't put his hand on the Bible because he affirmatively rejects what's inside that book. And then on a recent show, you went further.
Yeah, so I want to point out, this is the lady right here who made Tucker look like an idiot. Well, he made himself look like an idiot, to be clear.
He set the barrel full of fish and just let her run wild, huh?
Yeah. So, hey, Leftoid Cat Lady got a W, I guess.
saying, here's a leader who's mocking the gods of his ancestors, mocking the God of gods, and exalting himself above them. Could this be the Antichrist?
I actually did not say, could this be the Antichrist?
Here's a leader who's mocking
Nice
the gods
cover,
of his
Tucker.
ancestors, mocking the God of gods, and exalting himself above them. Could this be the Antichrist?
Actually did not say, could this be the Antichrist? I don't know where that comes from, but I know that those words never left my lips.
Could this be the Antichrist?
You've been talking.
Yeah, and it kind of goes on like that. She also questions him about, well, what do you believe about the Charlie Kirk conspiracy? And he goes, well, I don't think there's any conspiracy. And then there's a clip of him bringing up the Egyptian plane thing from Candace Owens. So that's basically what the entire interview was like.
Well, and I'm here to just say, like, normal people aren't even paying that much attention to this shit, right?
No.
And every time, and I don't either, like, every time I'm confronted with Tucker now, it's you showing me some shit. And I'm like, damn, what has happened, bro? The last time I brought a Tucker clip to you, Sam, was when he first went independent and he interviewed Ice Cube. And I was like,
Yeah.
that was interesting. That was different. It was bridging a gap because Ice Cube is kind of a center left kind of guy on the grander spectrum of things.
Well, yeah, and if you
And
remember,
then look at us now. It's like if any words shall pass his lips, they have to be inflammatory enough to get hate clicks.
well,
Same
and
with Candace. Same with all these people.
and
And
I don't
then
even,
we get shit for just talking about shit normally, like normal people talk.
yeah. Well, and I don't even pay that much attention to him specifically either. But like, people have some. It's interesting that you bring up the Ice Cube because because when he did that, like, I was like, man, if he's doing stuff like that, like the Ice Cube interview and building bridges, this is going to be awesome. But now he's interviewing like little Chinese communist like propagandists like from the CCP, who who
I don't know.
like
I guess he had to get that big money somewhere. Sam, I've been talking about this a lot lately. The
about
anti-corporate left, much like the anti-war left. Where is the
yeah
anti-corporate left, Sam?
uh
Are not the woke left, are not the far left like obsessively loyal to fucking mega corporations like Starbucks, like Disney,
Yep.
all of these things? So then, as an anti-corporate guide, which is one of the reasons I fell in the center, if anything, it's my staunch anti, corporate bullshit stance and anti-consumerism to a large degree. Though I'm not like a socialist, I do think materialism clouds people's minds and judgment, and I'm very open about this, right?
indeed.
Where's the anti-corporate left? Let's ignore the right for 1 second. What segment of the left right now could I point to and say they're the ones fighting back against the big corporations?
You can't.
I mean,
And now answer it for the right. Because there isn't any. Where's
I
the
would
anti-corpo spirit that America used to embody? Lit up like a big old blunt.
Bought by the corporations.
yeah,
They
they
done smoked it out of us.
that's what I was gonna say. Like maybe the only kind of anti-corpo, person I can think of would maybe be like someone like either Robert F. Kennedy Jr. or Fetterman, maybe, but like not really.
Yeah, I mean the outsider, the punk, as I would term it. My roots are in punk and hardcore and like underground hip hop, and none of that shit, by the way, was anti-capitalist, but it was all very anti-corporate.
Well, hold on, Max. What you just said there, I think, is a really important thing because you said anti-corpo, but you're not anti-capitalist, and I think a lot of people, I think, kind of conflate the two. Unfortunately,
It's
it,
not anti-corpo to suck the corpo's dicks just because they espouse some of your political opinions, though. That's not anti-corpo at all. That they are now they are the street
right,
soldiers of the corporations that want to force wokeness down our throats.
right. But
They're
what?
literally political pawns for the corporations. So
Right,
they're not anti-nothing. They can say, oh, well, I'm against capitalism, so I'm against corporations. No, those corporations also against capitalism because then they can just have a monopoly on the market.
right, yeah, but no, I get that,
And
but like
therefore immigration, so they can bring in endless fucking low-wage labor.
yeah, yeah, but Max, who will clean your toilets if
The
you know?
corporations will pay somebody that you get a subscription to for them to come once a month and clean your fucking toilet. And you won't own it. And you won't own the toilet cleaning. You won't own the fucking toilet brush. You won't own the fucking toilet. You won't own the fucking house. But corporations will be in check, bro.
Yeah, my God, that would suck. That would su
The left has gone from cyberpunk to rooting for cyberpunk.
Well, yeah, yeah, it's just like the old meme of, someone read 1984 and got the opposite impression, which is this is fantastic.
Yeah, well, they saw cyberpunk and they were like, yeah, I totally want to become transhuman and transsexual and live in an amalgamated
Yeah, let's
blob
do it all.
of urban sprawl.
I just want flying cars and grill arms and, and like,
Bitches!
robo legs.
Oh.
Well, I mean that too. To a certain.
That can be the ending for anything that you want. See, it's like I want a slice of pizza, a pitcher of root beer, and some bitches. See, it works
Yeah.
for anything, Sam. You got to start integrating that into your repertoire.
Yeah.
And you
Well,
got to say it like that too, bitches. You know, like your Cat Williams or something.
Exactly. But yeah, no, and also speaking of corpos, something that corpos push a lot, recycling. That's something that, the
That's kind of
corpos.
where I was going.
Yeah.
So I found somebody where the anti-corpo left is. It turns out, Sam, it's rational center leftists that are willing to check leftist premises and actually ask questions and do journalism. Kind of like, shout out, we had Rob Rosen on doing the same exact thing. Check out, oh my God, his book was Crimes of Omission.
Yeah, which
Crimes of
is
Omission. Very good, by the way.
which it
He was doing the same thing. Journalism exposing the corrupt side of the left from a left or a center left point of view. I want to see more people doing that. Don't let the activists take the left away from you or the center. You exist. You have valid opinions, and most people tend to agree. If you're not a screaming, raving, violent lunatic, most people are more willing to hear you out.
exactly.
In an age where we're just nonstop lambasted by fucking people screaming their violent opinions. And by the way, Sam, it is not lost on me that we have had multiple shots taken in the vicinity of the president this week.
Yeah, it's
Lock them up for violent threats. It's a simple fucking solution. People, don't tell me after the fact, oh, they made violent threats. Put people making violent threats under fire. Go ask them questions first. That's all.
yeah. Yeah, those are the people that we really need to be asking questions of. Well, and that's the other thing, kind of going back to all these conspirators. And John Doyle, who I really like, brought this up. It's all the part of the reason why all these conspiracy theories with, like, Candace claiming like foreign governments are behind all this. Part of the reason why that's so, like, annoying for a lot of us is because we see these violent leftists like openly talking about, violence against us on, like, a regular basis
For years,
for
decades, in some
years.
cases.
There's no
My
there's
friends
no
have been targeted of left-wing violent threats for over 10 years, Sam.
yeah,
We just don't go around crying about it like they do, because victim status means nothing on the right, or frankly anymore in the center. Victim status is only a trade currency on the far left.
right. But
But we
I
get threats all the time, and if you don't believe me that right wing people get threats, what happened to Charlie Kirk? It hasn't even been a year. Just
yeah,
remember that one. So yeah, it is real out here. And we're not seeing people. When Charlottesville happened, Sam, people were held to account. That's why it's so startling revelation that the SPLC was behind Charlottesville. Because of what happened there, and because of people went to jail. And in fact, one man is facing a death sentence over what happened in Charlottesville, and a woman is dead. Regardless of whatever you think happened there, that's both true statements.
yeah, and it's
People
unfortunate.
on J6 got put in jail for years without even
Yeah,
a fucking attorney. And they get to run around, and they threatened me at the Straight Pride Parade in Boston in 2019. They threatened all of us. I have been personally threatened by Antifa many a times. They doxed me. They get the name wrong. I think they were just trying to meet some kind of docs quota, to be honest, and they just made some shit up. But regardless, they come after people. And how about last year, Sam? Remember last summer when I was doing my Riot Watch streaming? I got a
Yeah.
lot of viewers for that. And one of the things that happened on that, and you can go check, it's on the Right to Offend Media channel. You have to go back a little ways, but it's just a stream where I was watching different points of views of the peaceful fucking protests we had last year. And one of them in Seattle, they beat my cameraman almost to death.
Yeah, I was actually on stream with you, and I remember we were both saying, like, you know,
Do
we
you
were
know
both
how many people have been charged with that assault, Sam?
0.
0. Their faces are all on camera. Their voices. They know exactly. Seattle police. I'm sorry, it was Portland. It was Portland. No, it was Seattle. It was Seattle. I'd have to go back to be sure, but it was one of those two cities, and I think it was Seattle. And the Seattle police have no interest in prosecuting a man beaten almost to death just for walking down the street. And he was like, "What's going on here?" and filmed it.
Well, since you brought up
He
the
didn't even know there was a protest. He just saw a bunch of people like yelling and cheering, and he thought they were celebrating something. So he started filming, and I was looking for footage. So I found him, and I was like, "Oh, he's in Seattle. Let's watch this for a while." They tell him to go away. They say, "You can't film here," and he's like, "What do you know? It's a free country. What are you talking about?" And they say, "Okay, you can film," and then they walk away. And I said in his chat to him, "They're coming back. You need to leave."
y-
That was a threat. And he says, "No, that wasn't a threat. They said I can film." And I said,
yeah,
"Yeah, they said you can film, but," and then they walked away. "They are threatening you. You need to leave right now." And he
yeah.
said, "Nah, I don't." And you know what happened is a few minutes later, they hit him in the head from behind with a rock
Oof.
and
Yeah.
stopped him on him while he was still streaming. And he got a fucking concussion from it and a broken wrist.
You know, Max, well, since you brought up the riots from last year, this would be a good time for me to show the book. And specifically, I've gotten a lot of questions about this cover for American Inferno, available now in paperback and ebook. And originally, I know this book cover focuses a lot on the Charlie Kirk assassination, but when I started writing it, the book was only supposed to be about all these violent riots. Hence why I basically took one of the actual riot photos and then like turned into an illustration and did some artistic things with it. These riots are still going on in the country. Uh they happen every year or so, it seems like. So, if you wanna read some,
Actually, it's every other year with the riots is fun because every other year it just so happens there's an election.
yeah, funny how that happens. So, pick up a copy today, and, as Travis Davis said in a recent, video he did, for the book, that he said that this book is super prescient, unfortunately, and, yeah, I mean, I wrote this just making observations about what I see, and
And
that's basically what Shadows of Deception is, unfortunately.
and you got a new one coming in a new era that
I
I
do
have a feeling might have some of the similar kind of prescient information in it, Sam, since you specifically chose to make a Vietnam era.
Oh, yes.
And that's not a spoiler because he announced it himself last week.
Yeah, and actually, thanks for reminding me. I will, well, I'll do it towards the end of the show, but I actually did get my copies in yesterday.
Ooh, I can't
Um,
wait till we get the film version where I'm gonna play Charles Manson.
yeah, Well, that story hasn't been written yet, but I'm serious. I'll give you a preview of that one so that you can start to prepare. So,
But all jokes aside, you've been doing great with that. A Vietnam era sounds awesome. I'm sure like I'm not spoiling because I haven't read any of it, right? But I'm sure there will be references to some very 60s topics like MK Ultra in there, no?
yep, and also the fact that
The Cold War just general.
the fact also that Richard Nixon did nothing wrong, and I will
Oh
die,
no.
and I will die on that hill, too. Well, actually, yeah. I mean, now Lefty's gonna come after me for that.
I'll go one further, Sam. Charles Manson actually didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, but the murders. Tex Watson.
Well, not. Well, neither did
And the say it with me, kids. The CIA. We don't have friends from the CIA that have come on the show, do we, Sam?
Not that I know.
We
Not that I
probably
know
never
of.
will with the shit that I say. I had the FBI. I don't even like. I'll make some jokes or whatever, but man, the CIA. It's always when I'm looking at something and I'm like, this does not look like a square peg, but there's a square hole here.
Well,
And the CIA has their fingerprints all over the peg and the
I
hole.
well, I will say this. We have had people who have contracted with the CIA.
That's
What?
different. I don't care. You do business with whoever. That's one thing.
Well,
I just don't want to offend if we've had any CIA agents on. I don't want to say because I don't think every person that works there is bad, for the record.
right, but the one thing that they've all said is that people in the CIA, most people, like your average field officer in the CIA has good intentions, but it's always upper management, whether it be in corporate or government,
Yeah,
that fucks things up. It's always upper management,
that's right.
is what I've noticed.
That's because humans aren't meant to be managed at that many degrees of separation, Sam. That's my
That is that is true.
That was Scott Adams' entire thesis of Dilbert, by the way.
Yes. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been what? It's not even been a year since he died either, huh?
No.
What a
That
crazy year.
the Dilbert animated series is still a banger too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So also
The comics are still fire. Like you could go back and read some of the shit from the 90s and they'd still make you laugh.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and recycling was another thing that Scott Adams called out as complete bullshit too.
There we go. So we've gone full circle, Sam. Let's talk about recycling. Boys and girls, let me tell you something. This is going to hit some of you the same way that it hit when somebody told you that pro wrestling wasn't all that you thought it was and that Santa Claus was a spirit inside of your parents' hearts. Recycling is not real, guys. It's fake.
And I wish I had this like 10 years ago when I wrote a paper in college basically saying the same thing that I got a C minus on because the professor was like, "Nah, recycling is real. And you're crazy."
Yeah. And
Well,
we'll drop when the video's done, we'll drop the link in chat so people can go over and check it out, like it. But yes, this is an awesome, well researched video that I think some people will learn some stuff here. try not to stop it too much to let him get. There's a lot of information in here, Sam,
Yeah,
and I love it. And
I'll
I like
probably-
bringing new topics to our audience because everybody talks about the same fucking 3 things every day.
Yeah. Yeah, and this really was a great setup. I'm probably gonna have to mute in certain spots for ads and whatnot because
Right.
because
We'll stop and discuss. I just don't want to. I don't want to sit there and talk over the whole thing like we tend to do because there's so
Right.
much in here.
Yeah.
Right.
9 times out of 10, the answer to that question is either going to be technically or money. So I'm just going to reuse this clip every time that comes up. So let's get into it. But again, remember, it's always technically or money. Hello. I'm wearing a lab coat that I stole from my sister who's a nurse, which explains why it's one size too small. The reason I'm pretending to look scientifically qualified is because a few weeks ago, I set out to make a simple video about the history of reducing, reusing, and recycling. But the more reports I read, videos I watched, and red yarn I purchased, the more I realized this is a deeply complicated issue. But surely the title is clickbait. I mean, recycling obviously exists, right? Technically? But the reason it's such a mess is due to the very material that popularized recycling in the first place. Plastic. Plastic is so interesting for all the wrong reasons. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that plastic waste is a problem, but the way we got here, and the reason you view it the way you do, is the direct result of decades of misleading claims, unrealistic promises, and propaganda from big plastic. That's a real thing. I'm telling you right now, this one's gonna be a bummer. I've never liked chemistry because it's the one science you can't see, and because I have the reasoning ability of a 12-year-old boy, if I can't see a thing, I tend to believe it's not real. We all know that plastic is made from oil, yet none of us know how. Prior to writing this, I couldn't even imagine how that works. As far as I can understand, when you extract oil from the ground and you refine it, the product that you're looking for is called methane. It's the primary gas that your stoves use. We burn it for like energy and stuff. It's really valuable. But one thing you get when trying to get methane is its less popular brother, ethane. And this is a byproduct of the process. Ethane is gonna be there whether you like it or not. And for a while, that's just the way that ethane was seen. It's just one of the things that you get when you're digging up oil. But in the late 1800s, it was discovered that you could use it to make this weird substance. It was this white, waxy material discovered by German chemist Hans von Pechmann. His colleagues named it polymethylene, also known as polyethylene, also known as plastic. Now, this discovery was an accident, and at the time, there wasn't really much you could do with it commercially. But in 1933, British company Imperial Chemical Industries, great name, accidentally discovered a way to synthesize this industrially. And the result was a material unlike the world had ever seen. Polyethylene was everything you wanted it to be. It was strong, it was lightweight, it was flexible, it was heat resistant, and most importantly, it was cheap. It might not seem impressive today, but at the time, plastic was viewed like the material of the gods. It could be clear like glass, but it didn't break when you dropped it. It was lighter than metal, less flammable than wood, sturdier than paper. You could color it, make it look like any material you wanted. It was easier to clean. It was easier to transport. It was cheap. It was durable, and
I guess.
Yeah, I was just about ready to say too, like plastics are kind of his field specifically too.
No, I get that. I actually think that if he were to fucking not be so impatient like he is, by the end of this, he'd be a little more satisfied with this because a lot of the information here, I don't think that he would dispute. It's that this guy's trying to give a layman's guide to a thing he's not an expert in, and Craig is. So I totally get that. But,
Well, Craig also does suffer from chronic engineerism too, where like
chronic autism, yeah. So,
yeah.
no, but at the end of the day, he's kind of skipping through that to get more into the process as to why recycling is not as effective as people think, and that a lot of it just ends up getting burned because they mislabel things to the public to try and make it seem like it's recyclable when it's not, and the logos look the same. And a lot of it is just corporate. Hey, I could get money. Let me put money in his pocket. Let me put my hand in his pocket, take somebody out, and then I'll give money to you. And we'll all give money to each other, and we'll call it recycling. And we'll pretend we're taking care of the trash problem that we're not actually taking care of. That's what the bulk of the video is, Craig. It's less about the science of plastic.
Yeah.
But since he's an impatient guy, I figure I give the TLDR.
Also, Craig, I mean, he says you guys are gonna make me break legs. I mean, good luck with that because
I won't feel it.
yeah, well, yeah, Mort won't feel it. I'll feel it, but like, I'm already in a chair, so
Yes, this
Go
guy
ahead.
is maybe not the fucking science genius that Craig is, and I guess I should apologize for that.
I mean, I suppose you could hobble. I suppose you could hobble Max, but like also
Good luck.
but also he's a giant
Isn't he
So-
already hobbled?
too. So, and there's
I got new sneakers this week, Sam.
so you could just outrun Craig. Then
I'll run a lot of people. I got new sneakers less than a week. They already got 30 miles on them.
so
I'm 0% surprised.
he says you guys are gonna make me tie a string on each of your hairs and then rip them all at once.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Oh, I guess he hadn't checked out my new song. Check out my new song, Fuck Science, over on Suno.
Okay. Well, now you're just asking it to be engineered.
I'm not
You know.
joking, Sam. Check out my new song, Fuck Science, in parentheses, I want to beat up science.
No, I believe it.
You
I
want to beat
believe.
up Anthony Fauci because he's the science?
Just science. I want to beat up science. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about all that shit, man. Fucking nerds. We live in Revenge of the Nerds, where they get to ban you. And they get to say, you're not allowed to talk about that because that's not technically true. Fuck you, the lizard men are real.
How would you know unless you are one?
I seen him, Sam. You ain't gonna fool me with your fancy science talk. He was a snake people.
Indeed. But yeah, we're 2 minutes in, and we should probably continue on.
Thanks to
So
injection molding, it was easy to mass produce on a large scale. This material could be used for everything. And due to metal shortage in World War II, the manufacturing of plastic became really big in the 40s. And since it was already in high production, when the war ended, there was an explosion of new plastic products to choose from.
Plastics take their rightful place in a world at peace. The future will bring plastic fabrics, wondrously fine, yet resistant to wear, wrinkles, and stains.
Saran wrap, squeeze bottles, Tupperware, shoes, dolls, garbage bag, plates, bras. People loved plastic, but manufacturers loved it even more. Why? Money. Remember, plastic comes from ethane, and ethane is really cheap. In fact, there's too much of it. Because if you're a fossil fuel company, you want methane. But if you're getting methane, you're also getting ethane. But it's not just that you don't want ethane. Nowadays, you literally have to find a way to get rid of it. You can't really mix it with the methane. You can't just release it out into the atmosphere. There's only so much of it you can leave.
real quick, it looks like he it looks like he green screened stairs or something. I don't know.
Legally burn, and if you don't find a way to get rid of this stuff, it becomes a big problem for production.
A lot of governments, including the US government, control how much you can flare. So it might be that you are producing so much ethane that you cannot flare it and you cannot send it down the pipeline, and if you can't sell it, you have to shut down the well. They hate shutting down the well. If there's still methane down there, if there's still oil down there, that's money in the ground. So it doesn't matter if you're making money on the ethane. You just need someone to take it away from you.
And plastic just makes sense. So from the 50s onwards, pretty much anything you could dream of was being made of the wonder material. The possibilities were endless. And the best part is that it would last forever, because plastics basically last forever. That will come up again later. I'm not here to say that all plastic is bad at all times. I'm coming to appreciate that plastic does have a place in society. For example, before the invention of single-use plastic-filled diapers, children used to wear cloth diapers that were meant to be washed and reused. That's okay. We don't have to go back to that one. The problem is how much plastic is made. So what were we gonna do with all this trash? I would love to answer that question, but I do have to do a commercial for a brand real quick. Why would he just interrupt the video like that? Money. Wow, look at this totally normal meal for a college student. I can't wait to eat this and then go about my day. That was me about 8 months ago. I noticed that anytime I ate a salty meal, I would get these crazy chest pains and my heart would start beating really fast. And I was totally panicked because I didn't know why it was happening.
Let me see. If this is just gonna be an ad read, I'm gonna skip through this part.
I believe so. But
Okay. Yep, it is. All right. What?
Well, look, man. He
Okay.
wants to say that the science research on this is shoddy. That's probably fine. He had an answer for that right at the beginning, Craig. It was that the answer to most of this stuff is either technically, which is what you're arguing about technically, or money.
Yeah.
The greenhouse gas emissions that come from when you actually produce the plastic to the disposal of plastic, a decent portion of which is just burned afterwards, which also contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. And probably the most annoying part of plastics, especially in the 60s and 70s, is that people would just throw them anywhere. It was in parks, roads, farmlands, lakes, rivers. Plastic also ends up in our oceans, which is bad because, as we all know, fish are dumb. And we'll confuse small pieces of plastic floating around as prey, and then they'll eat it. And then we'll eat it when we eat the fish. Did you know that the average American eats about a credit card's worth of plastic every year? That's why I don't order seafood. It eats through my wallet. I'm doing great today. But the planet is a big place. I don't get why we can't just find somewhere to put it.
We have this one planet. We only have so many places that we could put our waste.
I can think of 3 different places we can put our trash right now.
You can't put it in the ocean. Look what happened.
Sure, obviously.
You can't put it on top of a mountain.
We can't?
They've even tried to put it into a volcano.
I didn't even think of that. We can't?
We have to come up with a better plan.
So we had way too much plastic trash. What could we do to fix the problem? Well, we could have cut down on plastic production, which would have solved the problem at the source. No, we're never going to do that. How about we come up with a slogan instead? If you grew up in America after the 80s, you probably grew up learning about the 3 R's. Especially in the 90s and the 2000s, messaging about the benefits of reducing, reusing, and recycling was everywhere.
It's worth it. It is worth it.
It was on posters, commercials, children's television. They made jingles about it. They talked about it in science class. Did you know that Schoolhouse Rock forced Mitchell Russo to make a De La Soul parody song about it? Obviously, I can't play the whole thing here because Disney will have my head on a pike, but I will play a snippet shortly. However, before I do, I would like to read the lyrics to the first verse because it's written like a conspiracy theorist that's trying to make a connection that simply isn't there. 3. It's a magic number. Yes, it is. It's the magic number. Because 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 6 is 18. And the 18th letter in the alphabet is R. We got 3 R's we're going to talk about today. Go listen to this song immediately after this video. I assure you, it sounds worse when you sing it.
Gotta learn to reduce, reuse, recycle. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27.
This song had to have been written in 45 seconds. Recycling ads made it seem like you were fighting for world peace every time you threw a bottle away. I'm being responsible.
It's true, by the way. The way that they went on about like recycling when I was in school, they made it seem like recycling that if you weren't recycling, you were a noble person, and if you didn't recycle, you were a piece of shit.
Yep.
And yeah.
I'm basically a hero. We treat recycling as if everyone who does it is single-handedly preventing a plastic straw from ending up in a sea turtle's nose. You did it, man! We won! But that slogan is written the way it is for a reason. It's written in order of importance. If you want to help the environment, by far the single best thing you can do is reduce the amount of trash you make. If you don't want the planet to be filled with waste, don't make the waste in the first place. Beyond that, the next best thing you can do is to reuse the waste that you create. And I'm not talking about that 5-minute crash reuse. I turn these bottle caps into jewelry. I'm not doing that. I'm a grown man. I don't just own a glue gun. It's kind of crazy how underrated reusing things is. We'll talk about this more later, but Americans have been taught to believe that reusing things is for poor people. Historically, though, every culture and every people have always reused everything they can.
So, in thinking about ancient Greek sculptors, their favorite material to use was bronze. And the reason that we only have a few of these left, they got melted down to make implements of war. Egyptian kings would wait for previous monuments to maybe fall into a little bit of disrepair. there, and they would knock them down, and they would use those pieces to build their own monuments. Sometimes the Romans would take their sculptures and they would recarve them into the sculptures of later emperors.
If you grew up in a melanated household, then you know that just because a container that used to hold food is now empty, it does not mean its life is over. I'll be the first to admit this. I used to be embarrassed when we'd have people over and I'd have to explain to them that we used the empty Greek yogurt containers from Costco as cups. Well, I wasn't embarrassed at first. It wasn't until somebody who wasn't in my family came to my home, saw what was happening, explained to me that their family doesn't do this, that it immediately clicked, yeah, of course nobody else does this. This looks weird. But looking back, objectively, it shouldn't be viewed as weird because we used that container 50 times longer than it was intended to be used. We saved them from going into a landfill prematurely. That is, of course, until I put it in the microwave and it became immediately unusable because, of course, it was a Greek yogurt plastic container. It can't handle that heat. But sometimes, despite your best efforts, you end up with plastic that you just don't know what else to do with. Then, and only then, is when the last R comes in. Recycling. The idea that some company or organ...
Were you gonna say something, Max? I saw you address it.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Apex pointed out Penn and Teller did this 20 years ago on bullshit. Essentially, yeah. That's why I kind of like this bit because he delves into a lot of the corporate propaganda reasons, and they're not as devious or like, I'm gonna fuck everybody over as much as every guy's trying to make the most money for him and his company, and get the most like least problems, pass the problems on to somebody else, which is basically just everybody, us.
Yeah.
But also, we have to keep them buying plastics because we keep having all this ethane, and that's the easiest way to get rid of it. But not all plastics are created equal, which is where Craig is coming in. That's an important point, and that some are much more recyclable than others. Much.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay. And some of the more commonly used ones are readily easy to recycle technically.
Organization could take your trash and turn it into anything your heart desires. It's the most magical of the 3 R's. Magical in the sense that it's not real. That isn't to say recycling doesn't work for anything. There are actually a number of materials that recycle rather well. Aluminum, for example, is considered infinitely recyclable, meaning you can recycle it over and over and over again and it won't break down in quality. In fact, of all aluminum that has ever been produced, 75% of it is still in circulation today. Now, you compare that to plastic that actually breaks down every time you recycle it. And of all the plastic that's ever been produced, 70% of it has been discarded. In fact, generous estimates say that only 10% of all plastic has ever been recycled once, and only 1% ever gets recycled twice. I think the main thing that makes recycling super difficult is that it doesn't arrive at the facility in perfect condition, organized by color and material. It comes in one gray blob, and there is almost surely animal and or human feces in the mix. And even the stuff that isn't fecal matter, a good portion of those materials shouldn't be in that pile. Recycling rules get so confusing because, first of all, you need to know what type of plastic it is because not all plastics can even be recycled. Second, did you know you have to clean the plastic before you put it in the bin? Some packaging materials, even if it has the recycling symbol on the front, some recycling plants can't accept. And I would love to sit here and tell you all the ins and outs of what can and can't be recycled.
That's honestly why I just throw everything in the trash, because
that's why everybody does is, and he gets into one of the biggest fucking problems very much after this, is that all the symbols look like the recycle symbol, but not all of them mean you can recycle it.
Right. Well, also, if it takes 12 steps for me to, for me to clean the thing, then yeah, that's not like useful at all.
And also, as pointed out in the video, rules vary not just from state to state, but literally from city to city, town to town, as to what is and is not allowed, recyclable. It's a mess. The whole thing, like Craig can say some of this is not true or whatever, and he can be really mad that things that he deems not true existing makes him mad. I get that. But the overall point, right, that this is a giant confusing mess and a lot of people continue to profit off of it without fixing the problem is not untrue.
Yeah, my whole thing is like I don't even think Craig is necessarily wrong on anything with like the science. My issue is that the recycling thing has become a whole big bureaucracy. So yeah.
He's just ignorant. Well, I don't
You
know.
wanted to
My
make it work. I
stepdad
come up with a bit
set up
where I
a
was going to get a
recycling
scroll.
plant,
Like,
Greg.
here,
Do I not
ye.
know
I
anything?
can't do
And
that.
how
Because
politicians
What,
how
what,
politicians like to treat treat us like morons about voting. They need to.
Everything sounds good on
things like-
paper.
right, but they need to treat us like morons when it comes to recycling and explain it to us, but they refuse.
No, everything sounds good on paper. Recycling should work like he's saying on paper. It does. But in reality, people don't people send the shit to wash. Motherfucker, like they throw most of it away. That is a fact. The recycling plants throw most of the intake they get away because they cannot use it. He can dispute that all he'd like.
I enjoyed chat drama sometimes.
Well, it's not chat drama. It's just
No, I
he
know.
disputes certain parts of this, but it's you know, he wants to scream ignorant. Okay, yeah, everybody's ignorant. Not everybody has a fucking PhD.
recycling rules change everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's a new set of instructions. The
Hey,
ones
you
in
know,
my area.
hold on, Sam, real quick. The fact that everybody's more ignorant than you is why this problem is a problem. Didn't you understand? Or are you not smart enough?
I was real like near still am on the recycling thing. A lot of it, at least.
The ones in your area and the next guy's area and the next guy after that. And despite all that effort, most plastics just end up in a landfill or being burned in an incinerator. So how did we come up with such an ineffective system? Well, to understand that, you're gonna have to... So you're pretending you're this businessman from the 50s and you work in the plastic industry and your entire job is just to make money. You know, one of the reasons life sucks now is because you can't own anything anymore because everything is a subscription. Sure, I could make some money selling you something once. But I could make more money if I sold it to you once a month for the rest of your life. But how am I going to get you to buy more plastic? I just spent all this money advertising how durable it is and how it basically lasts forever. People know you don't need any more plastic. What am I supposed to... What if I just told you the opposite? Imagine you're in a room with the most boring old white men that you can think of, and then the main old white guy is in the center, and he's like, okay, guys, if we want to make money, we have to convince the public to throw away the plastic. And everybody was like, what's this guy talking about? And the main guy is still up front. He's all like, you guys, listen. Glass and metal are expensive and heavy and breakable, but plastic is made of oil, so obviously it costs basically nothing. And then one guy raises his hand, and he's like, wait, I thought oil was basically like black gold, and every country on earth is fighting for it literally all the time. And the main guy's like, shut up, it's not important. Nobody knows how both those things are true. This is just the way the world works. It's light, it's cheap, and we have more than enough to sell. If we can just convince them to throw away the plastic stuff they already have, I promise you we will all make so much money. And remember, that's your job. That scenario wasn't really an exaggeration. At a 1956 annual conference for the plastics industry, Lloyd Stouffer, an editor of a trade magazine, literally told plastic executives their future is in the trash can. But there was a problem. This was the 50s. These people lived through the Great Depression, where they used dresser drawers as baby cribs, and they made the most insane recipes with any food they could find. You know that one guy on TikTok from 3 years ago who used to make all those recipes from the 30s? That was Depression food, not the feeling, the time period. Although you may confuse it to be the same thing, because they couldn't afford fruit, so when they made apple pies, it wasn't with apples, it was with crackers and water. This era of Americans was not used to the idea that you buy something, use it one time, and immediately get another one. That would be like if I invited you over for dinner and we were eating off glass plates, and at the end of the night you asked me if I want you to put your plate in the sink, and I just told you, nah, just throw it away. What are you talking about? And again, you were just telling the public how plastic is basically indestructible. So why would they just want to get rid of it? So the plastic industry had to make new ads that were basically like, okay, forget everything we just said about plastic, okay? It's not that great. It's cheap, and we have an endless supply of it. So after you use it, just throw it out, okay? If you eat off of it, if you drink out of it, if you look at it too hard, just throw it out. It's fine. But isn't that kind of wasteful? Come on, man. All the cool kids are doing it.
For decades, Americans had a make it do or do without mentality. Our new throwaway culture fell in love with single-use plastics and didn't worry about the consequences.
Being disposable, there are no empties to collect. Vinyl and asbestos on the floor.
In fresh sun, sea, and sky colors.
So people started throwing stuff away. everywhere. It was too much stuff. Littering was now becoming a bigger problem following the rise of single-use plastics, which combined with other environmental concerns led to one of the biggest environmental movements in modern history.
This is a CBS News special. Earth Day.
A day set aside for a nationwide outpouring of mankind seeking its own survival.
April 22nd, 1970 was the world's first Earth Day. A time for people in some of the most confusing pieces of attire and hairstyles that the human race had ever seen up to that point in their history gathered together to discuss issues hurting the environment. And of the many issues, one of the issues on the docket was plastic waste. In fact, you start to hear talk that maybe plastic should be banned altogether. But again, you're a businessman in the plastics industry. If your product gets banned, you can't make any more money. That's your one job. You're blowing this! But you, as a businessman, maybe you take a second to realize maybe enough's enough. Your decisions have negatively impacted the planet. You've made more money than you could ever hope to spend in your lifetime. Maybe it's time that the plastics industry goes to rest. You retire, maybe spend more time with your wife and the kids. Maybe this is a good thing after all. Maybe it's time to call it quits and let the packaging industry go back to its more sustainable practices. I'm kidding, it's time to plot! And what do we do every time we need the public to change their opinion immediately for our own benefit? Advertising.
Obviously, that got muted for copyright or something.
First off, this man is Italian. Secondly, although this ad may look like it was paid for by some environmental activist group, it was actually produced by Keep America Beautiful, an organization started by the packaging industry like Coca-Cola and Dixie Cups. You know, the people who made the trash. The point of this ad wasn't to stop litter. It was to make it abundantly clear that this littering thing, that's your fault. But aren't you guys the ones that got an entire generation of Americans to start acting like this in the first place? Don't change the subject. You made that Italian man in an almost surely offensive garb cry. Look at what you did. That's a great first step. But if you really want the people to get off your back about a problem, you have to promise them a solution. Give them something to believe in. And so essentially what happened was the equivalent of, I'm sorry guys, this is getting out of hand. The city's gonna have to ban the plastic. No, wait. Okay, we'll fix it. Jeez!
A growing backlash was threatening the future of plastic.
So it was up to us in the plastics industry to solve this problem so that they could continue to package their products in plastic.
To appease government officials, the industry funded a local recycling pilot project.
The industry attitude was, we'll set this up and get it going. But
So what I'm gathering is basically the plastic companies are responsible for recycling, just like how the cigarette companies are ironically responsible for the no smoking campaigns. It all makes sense now, Max.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, the biggest focus, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been switching inputs on me. The biggest focus for me in this presentation is the interplay of politics, business, wheel greasing, lobbying, and the everyday individual. It creates this confusing mess where nobody even knows recycling isn't real because nobody knows how to do it is the fucking actual answer I was trying to get at. That the propaganda gets changed to serve different causes, some of them noble even, and some of them not so much. And one of the biggest races in all of science that people aren't talking about, Sam, is the materials race, okay? To come up with something better than plastic has been the main focus of that entire season, which is, you know, that's where Craig's wheelhouse is. He's in that type of science. And so I understand that, you know, a lot of this stuff seems like basic bitch to him, but a lot of people have never been confronted with any of it. He thinks that a lot of it's wrong. I understand. There's more than, you know, the dude has a podcast of his own to present counterpoints. All I'm saying is my big aspect here was the conglomeration, if you will, of business interests, corporate interests, and government interests, and not in the interest of the people. And I don't even care if it is sometimes in the interest of the science. Sometimes the interest of the science is the angel of death twin experiments in World War II. That helped science a lot. Does that mean we need holocausts? No.
No.
Just the benefit of science, or what's best for science, or what's best for, like, technically on paper, is not where my fucking mind lies.
Yeah.
And with recycling, it's this big mess, and I stress, not necessarily intentionally so, and with some problems that we could fix if people thought about it for 5 seconds. But, you know, a lot of people wanna dictate what you're allowed to talk about and how these days. I guess that's what I react to the most.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of been our whole shtick no matter, what subject we're talking about, right? Is you're not allowed to talk about this, you're not allowed to talk about that. So,
Yeah, and in this case, yeah, I think that there is, like I said, a corporate, governmental kind of bureaucratic drive forward, right? It's not about solving necessarily the problem of the people. It's about solving the problem of the corporation, and because they have the money for the lobbyists.
Yep.
And that's sort of the biggest point I want to get across, is that in the end, what happens is the local recycling plants have different rules. Their levels of plastic are not uniform. Because the rules aren't uniform. Some places do wash, some places don't. Some places wash and rewash, like he said in the chat. Some places don't. Some places do the absolute bare minimum because that's called human action. And this is why on paper stuff, this is the same problem libertarians have. On paper, it sounds great, but human action exists in reality. And so you're going to have the guy that throws used condoms in there too. You're going to have the guy that, even if you explain it to him, he shouldn't do that, he's going to still do it.
yeah.
So you just have to account for that.
Well,
And accounting for that is very expensive. And the guy running the plant to try and make money, he's actually making money, Sam, off of subsidies from his government, not the producing of recycled plastics.
Well, when I was living in Denver, still at the time, it was revealed, and I believe it's changed since then, but a lot of the recycling programs, it was revealed that all the recycled goods, almost all of them, were ending up in the same landfill as the trash anyway.
Well,
So
that's the thing, is about 70% of it does. And Craig can say it's ignorant, but like, that's the statistic you'll find anywhere. I'm not sure what statistic he's going to show that would dispute that. And I'm open to seeing stuff like that. It's just, what I didn't like is that the thing being and what I didn't like is the attitude of, oh, it's ignorant. He's ignorant. This is all ignorant. You shouldn't watch this, basically. Like, would you like somebody doing that to your show, Craig?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think I kind of got the point of what this other guy was trying to say, though, which is that the recycling thing is a big bureaucracy, which
Which was my point. Is what's the thing I hate? It's not about the science to me at all, and I guess that's where the disconnect of him, because he's a scientist. So
yeah,
saying it wouldn't be important to him would be silly, but it's not that important to me. What's important to me is the bureaucracy problem.
Yeah.
Well, no, calling it ignorant 4 times is the same as saying don't watch.
So, well, I kind
because he said he never said that not to watch it. You said it was.
Yeah, no,
mean,
I see the chat. No, I kind of stopped the video because I kind of, unless
I said we weren't going to watch the whole thing anyway. I wanted to get the point that the bureaucracy of recycling prevents good things from happening, as well as covers up that it's not as. That's the big point, is that propaganda, those recycle and you'll be a hero bullshits. they were lying to you about that. If you just throw your little piece of plastic into that bin with the fucking magic symbol on it, doesn't mean that you're saving the world, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and then instead of teaching you or teaching people about the proper way to handle all of this stuff, or even having symbols that people understand, the symbols all look the same. They don't mean what you think they mean. And they just are happy to have people dump this problem onto the next generation over and over again. It's very important, Sam. And then this is where I think that Craig comes into this in a way, and people like him, they are working on materials that don't have these downsides all the time. And that's the cool part about science, as much as I'm taking the piss, is like we could absolutely solve this problem because one dude tries something cool in a lab one time.
well, no, that is why I like talking to scientists, and more specifically to Craig, is
Oh, I
because
love Craig. He knows that.
well, no, I know
great.
I know that, and I'm
He's a science guy and he's Jewish, and I'm a big mouth and I'm Irish. Of course we argue.
I'm saying specifically though, I like
If
talking.
we didn't argue, it would mean we'd hate each other. Actually.
What I'm saying is specifically, I like talking to science guys because a lot of the people, a lot of what I was taught about science, like growing up and even in college, wasn't actually taught by scientists at all. It was all by like people who thought that Al Gore was a fucking scientist. Okay, I was. Since we've been bringing up in school suspensions, Max, I'll tell you what I got suspended for, because I basically kept interrupting during a mandated viewing of An Inconvenient Truth. Does anyone remember that movie?
Yeah. Those ice
yeah.
caps melted, what, 14 years ago, huh?
Longer than that. It was more like going on 20 now.
Well, no, he said by 2012, the entire ice caps would be melted, specifically.
Oh yeah, then that was
14 years ago.
Yeah. I was
You're
even
still there, Sam.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, is like left-wing propaganda, which a lot of it overlaps with recycling at this point, right? The greenie shit. It has this habit of trying to show you the best case scenario and hide anything negative, right?
That reminds me too of when they were trying to get everyone to switch over to to those squiggly light bulb thingies.
But
And
Sam, I do want to tell you one thing that I don't think Craig will expect. Don't just throw your shit away if it's recyclable, sir. If it's legitimately recyclable, you probably should recycle it, Sam. The problem is, like I said, the average person doesn't understand how to determine that.
Right.
And we have this big clusterfuck. But no, I actually think, like, if the system wasn't full of bureaucratic bullshit and ignorance on, like, I was not even joking, ignorance on the part of the public as to what they're supposed to do, those two things, we could do a lot better. We could do a lot better. So no, Sam, don't just get discouraged and throw it away. Bad, Sam. And also support scientists working on better ideas, because like they are, like, even if they're not working for a company or a fucking university, there's some bro out there in his garage tinkering around with some goop that might come up with the next big thing. Who knows? That's how science works sometimes.
Oh, of course. And then the EPA comes in and fucks it up. So
that's why you gotta get yourself an accountant and a lawyer and fucking
yeah,
will. and
Yeah,
Testament.
but
And you need
then
to make sure to say that you're not a danger to yourself and you're not going to do anything and you're not going anywhere all the time. Scientists are getting killed, Sam. Have you seen this? It's weird.
So yeah, I mean, I've heard of the
Specifically, scientists working on a materials program end up just having these weird ends that, like, might just all be coincidence, admittedly. But if I was the science guy, I would say I don't want to work on that particular material.
Well, I mean, fortunately, most of the science guys I know, and yes, I know more. I actually do know more than just uh, Craig and Steve.
He's got a
The
science guy posse.
I do have a science guy.
They be rolling hard down the street with their protractors and graphic calculators and shit.
I mean,
we be doing math out in these streets, Sam.
Yeah, and I'm an English.
Math? What's that?
And I'm an English major.
Well, that's why you gotta see, like, the leader of the gang is not necessarily the toughest one. So the leader of the gang of nerds can't be the nerdiest one. You got to do the talking for them. You got to parlay. You got to speak nerd to English for them.
That's which is literally what I went to school for. So
translating nerd to English based.
I can also translate well, I can also translate.
We don't need encryption. You want to see something cool? We can communicate secretly by just writing openly in cursive. It's like a secret code that only old people know. Even the bots have a hard time with cursive, you know.
Yeah, I know.
That's right. We're gonna write. You can write in cursive, can't you, English major?
Well, I mean, I can, but it'll look like shit, just like.
So does mine, Sam.
Oh, his is terrible.
Yours probably looks better than mine, and people might think I'm kidding.
Well, what I was gonna say
my
is,
signature is a squiggle.
I mean, dude, that's what my handwriting looks like on.
If you side with an X, I would if I was you.
I mean, no offense, Mort, but your handwriting is probably the worst.
Damn.
Probably.
Why you always bully Mort? Here we are again. What did Mort do?
I'm a
Mort's handwriting
42-year-old
is fine,
cripple.
Sam. Thanks for asking.
No, it's not.
Well, yeah, but he didn't have to bring it up.
The problem is I switched schools early on, and the school that I originally went to started us doing cursive early, but then transferred to the new school. We hadn't started cursive yet, so they wanted me to go back to printing, which fucked up my handwriting, and it's been shit ever since.
Yeah. Well, and also,
like, I don't write great in cursive, but he's literally crippled. Do you know how many Zoomers can't write in print?
Oh, I know. It's
you don't put a keyboard in front of them, it's over, brah.
My hands aren't that bad. I play guitar. Fuck you.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. These Zoomers, it's not because they're perfectly fucking able-bodied. They just have a screen in front of their face at all times.
Yeah, well, no, that's what I was gonna say. Is Mort and I both may have shitty handwriting, but we're both better than the Zoomers because at least we have handwriting.
And we actually have an excuse to have handwriting. Crippled.
So what else did we have on the docket for this evening? We talked about Nick Fuentes came out as a Democrat. We talked about Tucker
because
Carlson
we already know
came
he's
out.
gay.
Tucker Carlson came out as a retard.
Yes, we talked.
We talked about how you should recycle, even though it's a lot of it is bullshit. And
Did I bring up that Karen Bass has been appropriating California state funds for so
that bitch been stealing. Shocking.
We covered that.
What was it? There was 3 shots taken in the vicinity of the president this week, and we brought up how people who make violent threats should probably be at least talked to, looked into.
I'm gonna be completely honest, Max. I didn't even know that there. I knew about the White House Correspondents' Dinner, but I didn't know that there were 3 shots. That there were 3 more shots, but that doesn't even really surprise me anymore.
No, Craig asked if Tucker said it openly like Alex Jones. No, what he just said was he got made fool of by a New York Times cat lady. So it's a humiliation ritual to say that he was retarded rather than just saying it, which I feel is a little more degrading.
Yeah. Basically the New York Times lady basically quoted a bunch of stuff that Tucker has actually said on his show.
And he said those words never passed my lips, and so she showed him saying it. It was good. It was pretty good for a New York Times cat lady. Score 1 for cat ladies in 2026. They've been taking nothing but L's, so I'll give it to them.
Well, yeah, but then again, I mean, taking down Tucker.
They kind of deserve L's.
But then again, taking Tucker is kind of like pushing the fat kid.
Right. Well, no, it's like you know what draft bait is, right? Where you put out a trade of your least attractive player to make roster room so you could draft somebody better.
Yeah.
That's what Tucker and Nick Fuentes going to the Democrats is. We're just clearing up roster space over here. You can have Candace too, and we want a first-round draft pick.
Well, look.
We don't even need a player, Sam. We're freeing up the cap salary.
Well, look.
They can take Alex Jones. They can take whoever they want, man.
Well, look. Since
they're not taking anybody good.
Well, look.
I'll see their I'll give them a quartering. They can take a Tim Pool. They can have Tectone. Who else? Give them everybody.
Well, look. Since we're going in Tucker and Candace, can we at least get Fetterman as I think that's a fair trade for pretty
you know
much.
What, Sam? Fetterman probably doesn't have the highest salary, so he can fit under the. You know what? We'll still make space, and we can get Fetterman. I agree. That's a good trade, Sam.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Just wait until draft day. We're on that shit. I'm gonna make a big pick, Sam. You know what? I'm gonna draft Sean Semenko. Actually, that'd be a good pick.
Actually, Sean Semenko, I've known Sean Semenko for years.
No shit, Sherlock, but he's still a good pick.
Yeah.
That just means you got the inside info on the blue chip pick.
Yeah.
I'm still making my same pick, Sam. It's only because I know also he cracks me up.
Yeah.
With mistakes sometimes on how stupid people are.
Yes.
It's nice to know that we don't exist in a bubble of just us looking at the world being like, is everybody stupid all the time? Look, I'm stupid sometimes, Sam, but you gotta turn it off once in a while, people.
Maybe not all the time, just most of the time.
It's fun, I get it. It's fun to be ignorant. Dude, imagine, Sam, you could do this too. You'd totally get away with it. You could run up in your wheelchair into a McDonald's and go up to the soda fountain and be like, give me a cuppy. And somebody would give you a cup and you'd say, I just want water. And they would let you just put all the soda in it and just sit there and drink it like an asshole because nobody would call you out on it. Because even if you were able-bodied, they'd be afraid to call you out on it. Look at Johnny fucking Somali, Sam.
Oh, by the
Now,
way.
in Korea, it'd be a different story. But I believe you're in Florida, and there was a guy that just beat some pedos to death with a double-sided dildo. Florida, I think you get away with it.
Wait.
They just think you're on meth.
Wait, that is both.
They wouldn't even think they wouldn't even think he's crippled. They'd just be like, "Ah, there's another meth head."
Wait. So guy beat pedos to death with a dildo?
With a double-sided steel dildo in Florida. Yeah, that was news this week. Now, see, I don't see a lot of news, Sam, but I saw that one. And all I can say to a brother is free my homie. How is beating pedos to death with a steel dildo a crime?
That is weird, but also based too.
Yeah.
Also,
I guess it's a deadly weapon, and how I determine this, Sam. There's a logic to this. They're dead.
Well,
so it must be a deadly weapon.
Well, more, you would appreciate this, but I believe that there's a cyberpunk mod where you can beat someone to death with a dildo, and it's like an
No,
absurd.
it's not even a mod, Sam. It's in the game. It's in the vanilla game. It's in the vanilla game. You just have to do a specific quest.
Let's all blow Cyberpunk for something that Saints Row did 25 years ago. The dildo bat. They sold you an actual dildo bat with Saints Row 3. Did you know that? You could buy a dildo bat with the game in the collector's edition.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't buy the collector's edition. Why would I want a dildo bat in real life? That's fucking gay.
Well, you might not want a dildo bat, but
well,
I can think of somebody that might.
I realize though it makes sense now. If you were gonna use it to kill pedophiles, it makes sense why you would want a dildo bat. Other than that, it's gay, and even then, it's a little gay. You know what I mean? But like, I get it. It's making a statement, so you're taking it for the team. But me, I personally am. I'm a big fan of using my hands. You know.
Yeah, me too.
Good old fashioned chokehold on a motherfucker. But you know what? We're not allowed to choke people no more because we live in sissy fairyland.
Speaking of all out enemies being gay, which is true. I mean, well, do you want to take this one? This is kind of your territory.
First, there was Ian Freeman. And Mr. Freeman admitted freely that he sucked dick since he was 11 years old, and he did it for a video game. Then there was Christopher Cantwell. And he was the crying Nazi. And it turned out he was sucking dick the whole time and likes trannies. And along came a guy, and I haven't said this name in months, Sam. I'm breaking through the fucking veil. Along came a Foxman. One John Foxman. Jonathan Gaylord Foxman III. Mr. Johnny Fox. And he had beef with me, and he dragged my name through the mud. He attacked anyone I was friends with. He attacked people he used to be friends with that he should have known better. And he just couldn't help himself all year this year. And I mostly kept my mouth shut, not mentioning him directly. But it just so happened, Sam, that he sucks dick too, because he is dating his... You know how he's got dozens of women, Sam? Turns out, some of them born with a penis.
So,
And
so
also
do,
might be AI.
Now,
so
Sam, we're about to have a philosophical debate. You guys are single, so you have a better, like, more unbiased perspective to this than me. Mr. Foxman said in at least one of those messages that it doesn't make him gay to have, and in other messages, you guys have seen most of them, he said that how he was dating this woman for 10 months in some cases, and that it was an abusive relationship and she's a narcissist. And this woman's a trans woman, male to female. So, gentlemen, chat!
Fucking man.
Is Johnny Fox, or how about this? Would it be gay for you personally to have a trans girlfriend
Yes.
if you never touched them in real
yes.
life?
Yes.
Yes.
Even online, that's gay.
Well, now, you might ask yourself, Max, can you confirm this is a trans woman? Are you just making stuff up? He always accuses you of making stuff up. Well, in fact, this person is a somewhat well-known fighting game streamer named Glint. And Glint is, in fact, a trans woman. And I'm trying to be polite because I have no beef with this person particularly, right? Except that they're trans. Well, no, frankly, that's not a beef. The beef is, they would date Johnny Fox, I guess. But them being trans is important. How do we know that they're trans? Well, they were on a TV show, Sam, reality show about fighting game players at a competition, and their whole storyline was about how they were trans and overcoming the odds being a trans woman fighting game gamer.
I mean,
They are as trans as it gets, and their number one issue in life, if you look at their Twitter, is defending their right to exist as a trans person and saying that a lot of the propaganda you hear about trans people, including things that we say, is very wrong. That is, and I'm saying that's what that person says, and they believe, and I believe that to be the case. So, that is my evidence that Johnny Fox is a homosexual.
I mean, that seems pretty compelling to me.
Right. If you dated a trans person who was born a man, you are at the very least bisexual.
I mean, now to be fair, I'm gonna give. Oh, I don't even want to say I'm gonna give Johnny an out, but like, does
No,
Johnny?
go ahead.
Does Johnny know?
He knew, and he defended their identity, and he specifically said to them, yes, you are trans, and it makes him not gay, even though because you're a woman. So he did say all of these things in the screenshots I saw.
Okay, then that is totally gay.
You were giving him the he didn't know card, right?
Yeah, because
100% he knew. He even started. Sam, do you remember how he was like saying all kinds of nasty things about trans people a year ago? He started saying how great trans people were about 2 months ago.
Okay, well then
And then he started going at, and I thought it was because he tends to want to say the opposite of whatever I say and take the opposite issue of whatever I say because he hates my guts and he wants to be. It's like a game of one-upsmanship in his mind, I guess. But that's what I thought was going on. But in reality, it wasn't because of what we were saying on the show. It was because he was literally dating a trans woman. In his words, because he considers Discord relationships every bit as valid as a real relationship, which means, by his definition, he was dating a trans woman.
Which makes him gay.
Which makes him gay. So, let the record show, and Cringe Coffee House will cover this in much more detail because it's so funny. But I couldn't wait. It's also, guess what, Sam? Today, well, for another 30 minutes, is his birthday. Happy birthday, faggot! Back to you, Sam.
I mean, damn. That is Wow. That is, I mean, to
And
come out.
also, before all that happened, I released my new diss song, which, yeah, I mean, I put out a bunch that are about him without mentioning him, but this one was pretty raw, Sam. Check out my new single on wherever music is sold. Shoulda Never Fucked with the Sandman.
I
Available
mean,
now. Right to Offend.
I mean that song might be pretty raw, but it's not as raw as Johnny's behind probably.
I censored faggot out of it, the lyrics, which would have been amazing considering the turn of events. After I released it, Sam, all this comes to light. So I did, in the song, I do call him a fat, lying, furry virgin bitch. But I did originally say, in between it, I said faggot, and then I decided that would make it harder to promote. So I censored my song. But now, I just wanted to wish that wish that faggot a happy birthday. And I hope he has all of his gay tranny dreams fulfilled tonight. Fucking weirdo.
I mean,
Talk
that's
shit again, motherfucker.
I mean, that's quite sweet of you, Max.
Oh, and Sam, he might think that this is it. You know, I'm just gonna let the diss track season came early, Sam. And it goes all summer long.
I'm sure. I mean, so
Actually, I'll say it right now. I already have it in motion, so it's probably gonna happen for at least a while. I'm going to try and do New Music Friday for Right to Offend and release a new song every Friday on all platforms.
Based.
Something for y'all to listen to every Friday, at least one single or an album. You can check out Dirty Duets, That Itch Now, as well as my new single, Shoulda Never Fucked with the Sandman, dedicated to Johnny Fox.
Oh, speaking of things we should cover, so or rather, this could be in the vein.
Sam, I had one more real quick, and it was going to play so nicely off of what you said. My other single coming is called Yo Mama. And so you were like, speaking of things we should cover all over, Yo Mama! Coming soon, Right to Offend, Yo Mama. You can check it out on Suno right now. Go ahead.
That would be it. I mean, yeah, that would be something that we need to cover as well. But you know, if anyone tuned into the Monday show, you might have seen I saw the Michael Jackson biopic.
That's right.
Which you know, when I was in
Sam,
college,
is it biopic or is it biopic? I've always felt it's biopic sounds better.
Biopic.
Biopic is so reductive and it takes the fun out of the English language. Go ahead.
I mean, it's fine if we call it biopic as well, but yeah, I saw the.
But don't call it shit because Sam thinks it's good.
Absolutely. The critics who are giving it like a 30%, and basically saying it's like a glorified music video with no substance. They must have only they must have seen like a Tubi version or something like that because it wasn't. I also suspect a lot of these same reviewers are the ones who were like filleting the director of Finding Neverland or whatever that debunked documentary is that came out like 10 years ago.
Well,
And
I mean, like, to be fair, I want to point out what the debunking there is that you have to believe that the person telling most of the story in Finding Neverland is also the person who defended Michael Jackson in court when he did go to trial for these crimes and said he never did anything of the sort. So either basically, to believe Michael Jackson's a molester, you also have to believe the one and only witness that has come forward with this much information is a liar, either then or now.
Right.
And then there's other, stuff that goes aside from that, but that's the main thrust that I'd like to get across to people, is that the accuser in the Finding Neverland documentary vigorously defended Michael in court when he was on trial for that.
Right, yeah, because right. But putting all aside, like, the
But
critics are
we talked before the show, that's not covered in the film.
No, yeah, then that's my point. Critics are and that's the thing that, like, movie critics and game journos are both, like they're both idiots.
Yes.
Because this
Journos in general, yes.
Yeah, journos in general are still idiots, and, like, they haven't learned anything since 2014, basically, because this movie wasn't even intended to cover, like, the trial or any of that.
Well, as I pointed out, the trial and his death are the most notable things after the time period it covers, and that either way is mad downer of an ending, just like it was a downer of his life. And let me tell you something, if you don't know anything about Michael Jackson, the last thing he would want is the final note of his song to ring through your heart as a sad one.
Right.
He liked to make people happy.
And that was what really showed in this movie too. Like, it wasn't just a glorified MTV promo as some of the critics were saying. Like, you saw how introspective and caring and how also savvy he became as a business man.
People have forgotten because he's been gone for so long and his legacy is all lumped into one, but he has several notable periods of his career where he redefined himself so completely that the sound, the look, the stage show, everything doesn't even resemble. And to the point people make fun of him, they say, oh, well, he got a lot, paler skin and all that as he got older. Yes. But I mean, he popularized multiple different aesthetic fashion designs as well as multiple like soundscapes that people used for decades to come.
Yeah.
Going right back to the 70s sound, where he laid the foundation in the 70s for a lot of what would become like the synth wave of the 80s.
Yeah. He was also very charitable too. There's a they cover the Pepsi
He was one
incident.
of the most like per dollar spent charitable individuals alive most of his adult life. Yes.
Yeah.
Like on the planet.
And they cover the Pepsi incident in the movie. And I'm sure that part of this was, like, dramatically creative in parts for the movie, but there is a part where he goes, you know, I was burned and that was bad, but there are so many kids in this burn ward who are so much worse off than I am. So
that is true. He said that even to Oprah when he did the interview with her a couple years later.
Yeah, I know.
And he
I know.
donated an insane amounts of money to burn victim children after that. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that movie highlighted stuff like that and how he would go to visit kids in the hospital. So for anyone who said this movie had no substance and didn't dive into his personality at all, we did not see the same movie, and a lot of YouTubers like Razorfist pointed that out too, and same with Critical Drinker. And now because of that, now the critics are trying to backpedal and say, "Oh, actually, this movie isn't as bad as we initially said it was.
Because they can't
So.
get past their use. They have been for so long in charge. And we say they, it's like the philosophical lefties of Hollywood, let's say, where the anti-hero has been the only thing allowable. The
Right.
only version, even Marvel heroes are all almost at this point anti-heroes. Every one of them succumbs to their flaws to a degree is to become an anti-hero rather than a hero,
Right.
including Captain America and Thor, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Right? So the anti-hero has been so ubiquitous to them and they have control of it that they're repulsed even by the very notion that regular people want the underdog that wins in the end story, like they did at other points in history. And I'll tell you, one of those times happened to be about 100 years ago during the peak of the Depression. People looked to pulp, like you write, and stories where the heroes were good guys and the bad guys were bad, because that's how the world starts to look. And it's looking an awful lot like that. We talk so often about the violence that's out of control and crime. The people, I've been seeing something I find awesome, Sam. Asmongold openly talking about what the 2%ers and what that means, and why that's the same thing I've been saying. There's about 2% of the population that causes almost 100% of all of the problems that result in us living in essentially a minimum security prison because we can't have anything.
Yep.
And I would suggest that we start locking that 2% up. If you look in Oakland, California, this is the interesting study is that 1,200 people are causing all of this, right? All of the crime, essentially 80 to 90% of the crime caused by 1,200 people. There's more cops than that. But the problem is rotating prison doors. The same people come out, they're recidivists, they do it again, they get sent back. The lapsed DAs, the judges, all let them back out, especially you see this in liberal cities, liberal states. It's a revolving door of the same 2% of the population at most that are committing all the damn crime.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that when you commit crime, maybe the punishment should be quite a bit harsher. Maybe it shouldn't look so fucking convenient. Maybe it shouldn't look like, because all it does is punish people like us that don't want to do it.
Right. Now, also, you're still very much for prison reform. I know that.
Absolutely. And I've also said just today to Craig, I was talking with Craig, and Kyle Rittenhouse had brought it up. Felons should get their rights back after whatever the criteria. I'm not a fucking guy that's going to make the criteria, but I will say that the idea that a felon of any variety for any crime who has paid their debt to society can still never regain their right to vote or their right to bear arms, especially, I do not agree with that. And I think that we should move. Look, right now, as it stands, that's actually the least of their problems, because as a felon, it's hard enough just to get a job.
Yeah.
You have to disclose that, and people are absolutely allowed to discriminate against you for it.
Or even
it doesn't matter if it was 20 years ago. They can still just say, "Yeah, well, you got a felony. You fuck off."
Yeah.
And that's your problem, you know.
Or to even like get into universities sometimes even.
There you go. Joe, homeboy, Joe says he has a weed felony. Exactly. And he lives in a place where that is all now legal. So what's up with that?
Yeah, well,
oh, do we? It's not proactive. It's not retroactive. Oh well, go fuck yourself. These are the problem. Like, regular folk have to fucking handle all this paperwork garbage, and a lot of times, yeah, it's really tough for first of all, if you're a felon, the odds of you getting out of a working class job in anything that is not like entertainment and like lucking out, very slim. You're probably going to work a blue collar fucking job. You're probably going to work in construction or something. You're probably going to work with your hands. It doesn't matter how fucking smart you are, because you have a felony. This is so already you get that, and you can't ever carry a gun for the rest of your fucking life, and you can't vote to make anything better for your life to live, which I never even understood, taking away the right to vote to begin with from a felon, because we'll let a felon run for president, literally.
Yep.
You can run for office, but you can't vote. And a lot of times a felon will do that just to make that point, knowing they're not going to win.
Thankfully, here in New York, you once you serve your time, you can petition for your rights back.
And I'm not saying everybody that serves their time automatically gets that back either. That's not
Right.
I'm saying there has to be a middle ground between where we're at and where I'd like to see us. And the middle
Right.
ground is going to be some place where a felon, Kyle Rittenhouse was the one saying it, but I agreed, is there has to be a point at which a felon can at the very least get the right to bear arms back. In a world where you can get robbed and the cops can't do nothing to help you, stop it, and if the robbers decide to kill you, they won't even solve the fucking crime, but you're not allowed to carry.
Well,
Right.
well,
And you
well,
should be able to at least petition for your right to vote back.
Well,
And if they deny you, give you a reason.
And the other thing about the felon thing, real quick, Sam, it's not just the right to carry for yourself. You can't even be around people or associate with people who carry legally. Otherwise, you could get in trouble if you get, let's say you have a friend that carries and you don't even know and you get pulled over. The cop runs all your fucking names because whatever, and he realizes you're a felon and that guy has a gun. He can just send you to jail. You didn't even know. You didn't even know. It doesn't matter. And then you have to fight through the court and prove that you didn't know, and they don't actually care. And your defense attorney probably doesn't care either, because he's not getting paid. Not enough. This is the reality that people deal with. The whole system is fucked. But at the same time, we let out violent, multiple fucking felon rapists in and out, in and out, in and out before they even go to trial with no bail and all this fucking shit. And you can't protect yourself if you're a felon. I'm not a felon, just for the record. I just feel strongly about this because I have friends that it is affected and I've watched what they struggled with. It's terrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same.
Yeah, see, Joe said 18 years ago. Yeah, and we happen to know Joe is a good Christian family man. And like, yeah, 18 years is a long fucking time. At what point, like, I'm a believer that anybody can receive redemption, at least in my eyes, if they do certain things, and I would hope in the eyes of God. But the state thinks that you can't receive redemption no matter what you do for having a little fucking weed.
Unless you're fucking rich.
Yeah, unless you're rich, then maybe you can pull some fucking strings. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't think you could in Massachusetts. I think you'd stay a felon. Well, if you were rich and could beat it at trial with a good lawyer, you're right. That's where the rich would help. But once you're convicted of a felony, even money doesn't help in our state. They just want to rake you over the coals for the rest of your life. There's extra fees and shit you have to pay just to live as a felon sometimes. You have to go talk to people.
At that point, you'd have to probably somehow talk to the governor of Massachusetts and beg on your hands and knees and pay him a bunch to maybe give you clemency. Maybe.
Well, Maura Hill is a crazy person, a crazy leftist that hates guns and think they should be illegal. And so I'm certain she wouldn't help Joe out. He's too white, male, straight, has kids, isn't gay, isn't trans, isn't from Palestine. Nah, she wouldn't give a fuck about him. And he knows he's gonna tell you I'm right. He knows as well as I fucking do. That's why this place is fucking shithole. It's not the people, man. It's that they elect these dumbass politicians. And most of that's coming from the fucking Boston, up where all the college motherfuckers are at, and all the fucking government and all the big corporations. They're all in this one area, and so they have outsized influence. So they buy up this state, basically. I'll tell you, they tell the poor of Boston, especially the elderly, who to vote for. They literally check the box for them. Well, I voted Democrat my whole life, so that's okay. They go to people who are literally in nursing homes because they can't care for themselves, and they just fill the ballots out for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what ballot harvesting means, for those that weren't aware.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the
And
same
that's
case,
assuming those people are alive. Let's not even talk about the
right?
dead. Joe
Yeah.
even just said they registered him to vote even though he's a felon.
Damn.
Damn. Well, you know,
And see, my first thought, and I bet it was his too, was who's trying to steal my identity to vote with? Right?
right?
Because it's so fucked up. And these are all stupid little things. And there's no guide map on how to deal with any of this when you're a felon. And well, I mean, let's be real for a second. Not most felons aren't going to be the smartest people in the world to begin with. Okay, on average.
Yeah.
And then there is no map for them forward. But now you can watch these people could commit multiple felonies and never even get punished for it. So, if you committed felonies before 2016, you have to suffer forever. But if you commit a felony today in the right place and fit the right fucking judge, you get a pat on the back for it.
Yeah, well, and it seems like in some
Lock
of
them
these,
the fuck up. Sorry, Sam.
well, and it seems like in some of these cities, some of these judges should be felons themselves, ironically.
Oh yeah, I bet some of them are too. I bet if you were to catch the bribes that they're taking and actually prosecute it, all kinds
Yeah.
of shady dealings going on. And all the agencies funding it are the same ones funding the fucking SPLC and the fucking Charlottesville and Jan 6. Like Nick Fuentes' whole little gang, huh? Isn't it lovely?
Yeah, well,
And somehow through it all, Sam, all my enemies are gay.
yeah. And that's Shmuley's big issue too, is like how many
A
people
lot of
have
his
gone.
enemies are gay too, yeah.
Well, what I was gonna say is Shmuley's big issue was, how many young men have gone to jail for, on the order of Nick Fuentes, basically. Basically. How many young men's lives
That's
has he ruined? I mean, it's amazing. Some people just today, for the first time, saw the clip of him saying, basically like pledge your allegiance to me that you will, I will kill, rape, and die for, Nick Fuentes. Like people just discovered that today, and they were shocked by it, and it's like, yo, I've been like talking at that for a you know a long time, and no, he wasn't saying that like ironically or anything like that. So, but
It was fucked up either way. Like, it's undeniable that that's a messed up thing to get young. And he knew his target demographic is mostly teenagers when he was saying it.
oh yeah,
I told everybody 10 years ago, these people are there to make you throw your life away, to take you off the battlefield of politics because you show tendencies towards being a right-wing guy. So they have to make you a stereotype enemy, neo-Nazi skinhead loser. If you fall for that, you deserve whatever happens. If I'm honest. You don't have to dress up like their cartoon enemy just because you're against them.
Unfortunately, you're not wrong.
You don't have to make yourself a joke and an exaggeration. You can just be yourself. You can have your same opinions.
Which is honestly like that's what Charlie Kirk was, That's what Charlie Kirk was striving for, at least.
Yeah, man. That's what we're trying to get across. It's like I don't claim to be right about everything, but I do get told I was right about things a lot in hindsight. You know what I mean?
Well, we
That's
both
not
have.
exactly what I'm trying to do. I just call things like I see them. And a lot of times when I point it out, people are like, nah, that doesn't seem right. And then later on, it makes sense to them. And I get that. I respect that even. But sometimes it's just the way I see things. You know, I can follow the logic of where stuff's going to lead in my mind.
Yeah, well, that happens a lot too, and I mean a lot of it is just observations, and
well, and there's a level of I've been around.
Yeah,
the average people, you know, in their 20s. Don't realize that I've been doing politics since they were literally not even born, most of them.
Right.
And I've been doing it from an outsider position. And the more I go back and look, Sam, I was actually just saying this to my wife yesterday. I showed her some classic George Carlin bits that she had not seen. Oh, and before everybody goes off on, now all the hipsters will be like, oh, George Carlin's overrated. He's not that funny. Yeah. Fuck off.
He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. And just because political people have used his jokes to make point, and I pointed this out to her because she didn't like some of the stuff he said. She was like, "Oh fuck, he's talking the rape thing." That's, you know, at first, but he pointed out that it can be funny in the right context, and then he started going off. And these feminists, I agree with them. I think you should have this, that, and the other thing, but don't tell me what the fuck I can and can't say. And she's like, oh, I get it. Everybody gets it. Well, Sam, what I said to her during all of this was, isn't it crazy how the mildest shit I say on Sam's show that's not even crazy as some of the most well-known pieces of comedy in the fucking world, these George Carlin bits that everybody quotes, when I get even 10% of the level that he's getting at on this show, I get shit thrown at me. I get, oh my gods. I get Sam not being able to breathe. And I'm like, how far has the world fallen? You used to just be able to say, bitches is dumb. And everybody be like, I see what he did there. He doesn't mean every woman in the world is actually stupid.
Well,
but I do, Sam.
the other, yeah. Well, the other favorite thing is so someone I introduced someone to Moon Man the other day. And they immediately got that it was like a parody of basically all of the alt-right.
Dude, Malarkey was Malarkey, longtime friend, and B, I understand that he made Nazi parody songs, but they're very fucking funny.
Well, the fact that the the SPLC once again labeled back tonight the McDonald's character from the 80s as a white supremacist meme.
Well, Malarkey is as well. That's why I brought him up. But you know what's funny about that? He's like the one person in the whole scene of people that they labeled. And he's also the one person in that whole scene of people, weirdly enough, that wasn't taking money from them and they destroyed his life. Isn't that weird?
Funny how
all those alt-right guys, the only one that was first of all, he was just making cartoon joke songs, you know?
Yeah.
And some of them were like making Jew jokes because at the time, nowadays, that's not even edgy. Nowadays, his songs aren't even edgy. The left-wingers probably sing them at rallies.
Did Did you see the meme that someone posted where it was like in 2016 it was like 2016 and everyone's screaming all lefties are screaming not Nazis, and then fast forward to 26 those same lefties are screaming Jews, at the same people.
I think part of we talk politics here, but I've always brought like a flair of talking about more culture and art. And I think I have some edgy art homework for everyone. Sam, have you ever seen Fritz the Cat?
Yes, it's been a long
Yes.
time. But yes.
I think we should watch and review Fritz the Cat. I'm gonna make her watch it with me.
Oh, God.
Because that came out in the fucking 70s. And it's amazing to me how pussy we've become since. And it's a left-wing film in most ways. But let me see. Since it's the modern day, we gotta do some warnings, right? Trigger warnings. If you don't like racial slurs, you can't watch this movie. If you're triggered by cartoon sexual assault, you probably shouldn't watch this movie. If you think that violence is bad, you probably shouldn't watch this movie. My God, if you think drugs and cartoony trippiness is bad, never ever watch this movie. If you're sensitive about jokes about women being dumb bitches, never watch Fritz the Cat. If you're sensitive about anything and you watch that movie, it's going to offend you. And if you're okay with being offended, then you'll probably like it.
Which means I'll love it then.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it in a long time, that means you watched it when it was way not appropriate for you, Sam.
That sounds about right then.
Yeah, like that movie, I could understand a kid coming across it, especially a teenager, but you're not going to get 80% of what's going on in that movie unless you're an adult.
Which was the case for me.
Not in a way like, oh, you wouldn't get this. It's like a lot of it is political satire of the time and like corporate satire and playing with symbolism of fascism and police brutality and racism and sex. There's only one. Fritz the cat. Not Felix the cat. Fritz the cat.
Fight me,
The
okay?
cool one. If you find a picture of Fritz the cat and it doesn't have his pants off on the images, I'll be surprised. Her face says that maybe his pants are off. It's a pretty fun movie. You smoke a fat doobie and watch that shit. Or drop some acid. Oh man, you'd be... Never mind. Don't listen to me, kids.
Max on acid, that would be a funny episode of the show.
It'd be the most boring one ever.
Now me on acid, that would be... Well, actually, that might be scary.
Yeah. Especially after we got so used to you on PCP.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's X-rated film. Exactly. You used to have nice things in this country.
His hand is down her shirt.
His hand sure is down her shirt and a couple other chicks' shirts. Fritz the cat. We're going to discuss it next week, Sam. I'm going to hold you to it. You should watch it. You'll have a laugh.
Yeah, let me see.
It shouldn't be all that hard to find on account of it's like banned everywhere, so I doubt anybody's like paywalled it. It it was when they had no boundaries on what adult animation might be like. It's the first one of that kind. And so they were like, let's just throw it all in there. It had Sam, I'm now going to sell this movie. It's got racism. It's got sexism. Okay. It's got classism. Okay. It's got misogyny. It's got casual sex, drugs, violence, more misogyny, and a cool mouse who's killed very quickly on because reasons. And also Fritz is just cool. Like Fritz is cool. Like Fritz is just, that's the cool thing about Fritz the cat, is she's just like a bro, and all this shit happens around him. And he just rolls with a lot of it. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna put my hand in this bitch's shirt. All right, hell yeah. We're getting fucked up tonight. And then the cops show up and he's like, whoa, how did I become a terrorist?
Yeah. No. Oh yeah, I have seen this, but it has been a long time.
That's right. There is a gratuitous mouse butt sex. What else?
I mean,
If you're offended by cartoons having mouse butt sex, you'd probably be offended. Then how did you get through this much of the show?
yeah, that would be my first question.
Next week we get a loop of just continuous mouse butt sex and just test and see if they're paying attention.
If you're not offended by anime, but you are offended by this, then
That's it.
You've got a problem.
Motherfuckers be watching anime, and I talk about like MTV cartoons from the 90s, and they're like, oh my god! What was, oh man, The Max. You ever see The Max? That shit is fire. 2 X's. The Max.
Let me Google that now.
Yeah. He's like both a superhero in an alternate fantasy world where he saves the girl, but also in real life, he's like a loser drug addict trying to bang his social worker. And he's not sure which one's real.
Oh yeah,
That was on MTV.
Purple Dude, right?
Yeah, Purple Dude. There's another one that was awesome called The Head. And what his power was is his head was gigantic. I'm not kidding. Very funny show. See, we used to have fun shit. How about this, Sam? I'll go more into your wheelhouse here. What do you feel about Adult Swim?
Love Adult Swim.
Well, see, there you go. Think about the average joke. People get offended by the shit we say on this show, and just think about the average episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Could not be made. Could not be. Well, actually, I take that back because they did make a new Aqua Teen Hunger
Not the
Force.
original though.
Yeah. That okay. Let me rephrase. They couldn't make the original Aqua Teen Hunger Force today.
You know what they definitely couldn't make today? Did you ever see on Adult Swim Black Jesus?
Yes.
That was such a funny fucking show, man.
I fucking died laughing watching
This was all mainstream entertainment I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, to bring it back to the point of like the Boondocks.
Well,
South
Sam.
Park.
Yeah, well, Sam Hyde got his start on Adult Swim.
What I'm sick of, Sam, is that those things are allowed to say edgy jokes, but we're not. How about shut the fuck up?
Also, I'm glad to see that people on Twitter are calling out Rumble for like focusing way too much on political content and not enough on like creative, like
Those
artistic.
motherfuckers paid quartering how many million to sit there and sell as bland coffee to fucking morons?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, Rumble is great. We love Rumble. Bro was talking about his CPMs. Let me tell you something, Chris. If you're ever gonna watch something and actually take some criticism to heart, instead of telling us about the CPMs on a platform where you will not push us because we're not Tim Pool, maybe push independent creators. Instead of having the highest CPMs, maybe take that, and because you've already spent all this money on Dr. fucking disrespect. You spent all this money on these big name people, tens of millions of fucking dollars. What a waste of fucking money, Chris. But you spent all that money on them. All the independent creators want you to kiss their fucking ass with what you're offering.
Yeah.
Just so you know, independent creators like to use you to multi-stream, if anything at all.
Yeah.
Adam Gold is a special case, and you shouldn't consider that the norm. He doesn't need your fucking money. He's just looking for a platform. But the average small creators that you consistently put no time or effort into, they're going to go to other places, and they're going to make it on other places too. So, good luck. Become UsTube Part 2. Corpo Tube 2. This time it's flavored like right wing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
And I'll be on Kiss My Ass Tube. No, wait, that's probably an actual porn site somewhere, huh? Never mind.
Probably.
Gay pornography, Sam. Felt like throwing that one out. Johnny Fox is a homosexual-ish man.
Yeah, when you said gay pornography, the thought of Johnny Fox popped into my head.
Yeah, so he deleted his Twitter account, but he also brought one back.
That's hilarious.
So everybody go follow Adam_0X. That's Johnny Fox's new account. Tell him Max sent you. He'll appreciate all the love. Adam_0X on X. You see, it used to be his fake anime girlfriend, Sam. And I had blocked it because of that reason. But now it's rebranded as a VTuber guy who just so happens to talk about all the same things as Johnny Fox, who just so happened to have deleted himself and is gone from the internet forever at the same time. Weird how that happens. Also, he's gone from the internet forever because he got exposed as being a homosexual-ish man. On account of him liking dick!
Oh boy. He's never gonna live this one down.
I mean, how do you live down dating a tranny for a year besides being gay?
You don't.
You don't. You don't come back from that, Sam. Well, no, you do. You know who did? Cantwell did it better, Sam.
Wow.
Look at Johnny Fox half-assing it. What did Cantwell do when he was gay, Sam? He sucked all the dick, and he told you about it in vivid detail, to which you read so much that I almost vomited. My wife read a bunch of it. She almost vomited. We all almost vomited. It was a bonding experience. He came out as the gayest man ever. Johnny Fox comes out as gay, and he misfires.
And claiming to be straight. Sorry, Johnny, you're fucking gay.
He can't even be. He doesn't even have the fucking balls to be gay. Bro, if you want big, just say so. I'd respect you more.
Which somehow makes it even gayer.
And if it's like, well, he couldn't get a chick. That's the only chick he could get. If you settle for one with a penis, you're gay. It's not like, it's not like, Sam, this is not, I can't believe it's not butter, okay? We're talking about a penis.
I totally can believe he's gay.
It's like that meme, can't find girlfriend, become girlfriend?
Yeah, pretty much. And then he's like, find the one that became the girlfriend.
Which by the way,
I want to be clear though, real quick, Sam, before you by the way me. This person really didn't even chat back with him. He invented this trans relationship 80+% in his own head. Is that gayer or less gay?
That's even more gay.
Yeah, that's even more gay.
I figured.
That's more gay and delusional.
So here's my by the way. By the way, Johnny, you can make fun of Mort and I for being in a wheelchair. And, oh, you two probably don't even have girlfriends.
But at least we can get biological women.
Well, not
gay.
Well, not even that. Even if we couldn't get like biological, women, we're still not gay.
That's what I was gonna say. And if you were, hold on, Sam, if you were gay, you would have dudes swimming. There'd be dudes. You'd be beating dudes off with a stick. You'd be beating dudes off with both hands, Sam. If you were gay. I'm sorry, Sam. I don't know what came over me on tonight.
Probably.
No, you're not, Max. Don't lie.
I deserve that.
Well, probably, but even in the multiverse, I'm straight in all of them.
I don't know. There's at least one where you're gay, but you're gay in a straight way, is what I was trying to say. You'd just be like, that's the thing, Sam. You would just be gay. Any normal person would be like, look, if I happen to have that attract, like, it's 2026, bro. I know, current year argument, whatever. Who in their right mind is actually afraid of saying they're gay in 2026 in America?
Well,
the only thing that's bent about me is my back.
That's true.
But I just feel like if Sam was gay, he would just say, yeah, I'm gay, whatever. That's a part of who I am, and move on. Do you see what I mean? You'd be masculine about it.
Yeah, exactly.
We wouldn't be fucking fags about it.
Can't think of a... and I hadn't said stuff except... I did those songs. I did Geek Bully 2. I did Fox Hunt. Corpse Paint and Celibate, Sam. That's the one about how black metal turns chicks off. He took that super personal, which is very funny. What else? Never should have never fucked with the Sandman. Just come out recently. There's a couple more in there somewhere. Fox Hunt 2, Geek Bully 2. Geek Bully 3 is coming. Geek Bully 3, we stuffing them in lockers this time.
So you're making a trilogy then, huh?
At the very least, I don't know. Geek Bully has legs. We need to beat the shit out of these geeks, Sam.
Well, maybe. Well, I mean, I can be a geek bully sometimes too. I mean, I have legs, but they don't work well.
This motherfucker's always trying to bully Mort, and it backfires. Then I start bullying Sam.
I mean, I'm not.
Sam deserves to have it backfire.
I mean, and you deserve to get bullied, sir.
Not Morpheus, Sam.
So do you.
What did he do?
He's out
there saving the universe.
He bullies our other friend, Other Craig.
What did Other Craig
do?
Poor
Craig. He's simping again.
What? Well, yes, and he deserves getting bullied too.
Well, if you're gonna be simping, at least make sure it's not for a random trans woman on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know who else deserves to be bullied? That Sam guy.
That's true.
And Max deserves to get bullied too.
Probably, but who's gonna do it? That guy tried, and he's gay now. In fact, the last several people who tried to bully me are now confirmed homosexuals of varying degrees.
Well, your wife's not gay.
She doesn't bully me.
Yeah,
You
she
mean
does.
throwing stuff, Sam? I enjoy that.
Well, well, you,
That's
well,
the next.
you, well, you ruined my bit there. You ruined my bit there.
That's right. I like
So,
it when I can make that one right noise. Hold on. You might hear it.
Ah!
oh my, oh my God! I just realized what Johnny's new gotcha is going to be against you, Max. I can already see it. Do you know that Max has a fetish for things being thrown at him? That's what it's going to turn into.
Well, I mean, people already do that kind of shit of like, oh, a guy's into his wife, that's a fetish, so I don't care what it was. He's not saying anything. He deleted himself because he doesn't want everybody to know he's gay, but he won't delete or rename his YouTube channel on account of he just hit 10,000 subscribers. So he's having a hell of a birthday, Sam.
How the hell does he have 10,000 subs though?
Well, bots for one, but also
oh yeah,
he's
that.
been doing it for 10 years on the same channel, and a lot of the subs come from like different periods of time and content, and they don't watch it anymore. So, because you look at his numbers
So
on
the
his videos,
dead subs.
he gets like 100 views on his average video, and then like once a week he gets 1,000. So I don't exactly think he's like getting his 10,000 subscribers worth. I think that was just for him to feel special. Also, he had 9.5 thousand when we did the Riz Wars, so it's not like he got it like it took him forever to go from 9 to 10, like years. Congrats, bro. And then he said on to 100K. He thinks 100,000 people want to watch Catfish with nothing else on screen and listen to him fucking heavy breathe into their fucking ear for 5 minutes. Good luck. Meanwhile, Sam's got books coming. I got music coming. We're due streams. She's got music coming soon. And we just keep on doing the thing. So I reckon we're winding down on account of Sam disappeared.
Yeah. I'm actually going to be putting up a new song on Suno really soon.
I put up my last song I put up there. I put up a lot of stuff on Suno that's not on Spotify as well. Check out the Spotify first and foremost. Check out Dirty Duets and That Itch available now. But on Suno, I put out a lot more fun and experimental shit, show clips, other things like that. And my most recent one is called New Black Kicks, and it's got a video of me walking in my new shoes and rapping about it. Also got Yo Mama, which is definitely gonna be coming. Your Mama's coming soon to Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music. Look out for Your Mama. Did we lose Sam?
I'm here. I actually just had to I actually just had to
Yeah,
grab.
I think he got leveled.
No,
he went and grabbed the merchandise.
Yeah, I had to grab the merchandise.
By which I don't mean his penis.
My God!
Well, you don't know what I was doing off camera.
Samuel?
So what did you grab, Sam?
Were you doing the DSP thing?
No,
the camera was not on the whole time.
No more. I did not do it. I did not I did not I did not pull a DSP. So
I know he just makes it worse.
and but what I did grab is a new book that's going to come out.
A new book.
Well, really a new short story that's coming out. Blood in the Jungle, a Task Force Lazarus Origins story.
I like blood.
Yeah. And let me see here if I can get a well, it might be hard. It might be a little hard to see here, but
It's a little glossy, but from what I see, it's pretty cool.
yeah, it's very glossy. So it's not going to be the best, but yeah,
So,
this is it.
are any of the characters going to be in blackface for the film adaptation?
Well, there
It just
might.
looked a little like a serious Tropic Thunder cover. That's why I say that.
I mean, it is kind of supposed to be like a serious version of Tropic Thunder.
Based.
But no, we might have to get we might have to do Yellowface in the film version if we have any on account of I don't know too many of you.
Well, we'll have a bunch of people audition by having them say "sucky sucky $5."
Oh my god.
Me love you long time.
Well, or we could just like clone
We could have Tay do it. He's
yeah,
Asian.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We could green screen Tay and just like multiply him as the VC.
Because all Asian people look the same. I get it.
Exactly.
Also because a Cambodian kid from California is the same as a Vietnamese guy from Vietnam.
Well, Gavin Newsom seems to think so at least.
Can I play the Jewish accountant since we're just mixing everything up?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, hey, you guys are spending all the money out there on the battlefield. What are you doing? You gotta pick up them shell casings, oi. We recycle.
Yeah. Yes, and Craig can play the Craig can play the Irish bartender.
See, we got a movie. What we got to do is hire the exact wrong actors for a bunch of stereotype roles and just have it play out.
And be like Hollywood?
Yeah, except the exact opposite.
So good, actually.
Yes, good. We're going for good.
Yeah.
And also not evil. Those are two separate things.
So no Rachel Lego then.
Yeah.
Also, no casting couches. I know you're disappointed, Sam, but it's for your own good.
What do you mean it's for my own good?
Well, I feel like if I had you in charge of casting the ladies, the power might go to your head.
What do you mean might go? What do you mean might go to my head?
And this is why there's no casting couches allowed. We're not even gonna let, especially if the couch is black, it's out. Out. Not in Sam's office. Not on the set. Nowhere. Nowhere even remotely close to a camera in Sam.
Well, I'm not trusting Mort. Either though.
No, I have to have Mort. He is the right hand of like everything. He's like the. How the fuck would I run all the computers without my cyborg?
That's very specious of you, Max.
Those would crash.
What do you mean? Cyborgs are a subset of human. See, you always get on him, but he's a people, Sam. How many times do we have to tell you that? His brain is all people.
Yes.
The laser eyes, we're not sure. They might be natural. But the arms made of titanium alloy are certainly artificial. No one's saying they're not.
Morts have a soul, damn it.
That's right. You start treating him like people.
That's funny. That's funny though, Mort, because every time I mention that you have a soul, you're like, what? You're like, what soul, Sam?
Well, that's because I've sold it a couple of times, Sam.
That's right. We had to take it away, Sam. It's in a jar on a shelf for when we need it.
Look,
when he is fighting Helios, the sun god, okay, sometimes he runs low on power. That's when you say you get the Mort signal, right? And that's when it's a dire emergency. So we have these mnemonic tubes, Sam. And so that's how we send a lot of messages when he's off on the moon. And through the mnemonic tube, we got to send him. It comes in this little plastic container. We got to send him his soul to recharge, like when Superman goes into the sun, Sam. Mort needs his soul to recharge. But the problem is when we don't take it back, he tends to gamble it away.
Yes,
he doesn't like money gambling at all. But you give him his fucking soul, and he's like, I can jump that, bet my soul. So we had to take it away from him.
I need to meet the devil at a crossroads.
Yes.
I got it right over there. It's in the thing marked Mort's Soul. Break class in case of emergency.
Well,
But the glass is already broken because we have an emergency like once a month, but.
Well, I already sold Mort's soul.
See, you can't do that. You're committing
Only I can
soul
sell it.
fraud, Sam. How do you think the good Lord's going to think about soul fraud? You got to explain that to St. Peter, Sam? How you be grifting souls?
First off, soul fraud sounds like an R&B band.
Based. And how do you explain to the good Lord that you were shorting Mort's soul against the market?
Well, no, I was just gonna say that the actress Alexander Daddario owns his soul.
Well, I feel like possession is 9/10 of the law, and that's why nobody possesses it. It's in the emergency glass for when we really need it, Sam. Because have you ever seen what happens when the war gods of fucking Mars show up? Have you ever taken on 1 billion Draculas, Sam?
Not 1 billion. I have taken on like 500,000 though.
That would be impossible on account of that you haven't been to the moon. Moon Draculas, Sam. We need to make sure that Mort's power supply is uninterrupted. And here you are trying to sell it out to some OnlyFans girl. Yeah. It stays in the emergency room bunker.
I have standards, Sam.
Well, he called your lady. He called your lady an OnlyFans girl though. More. Are you gonna let him? Are you gonna let him say that?
Well, I didn't catch who you even said.
So you just automatically assumed that I'm an OnlyFans girl. Interesting.
No, I just assumed that a girl nowadays has an OnlyFans on account of, like, isn't that what happens?
True.
To be there's no girls on the internet. And now it seems like there's no single girls on the internet who don't take their clothes off for money.
Probably.
That is true.
They are a dying breed, boys.
It is. We are approaching like close to 3 hours somehow, though.
Well, through the sheer power of retarded grifters and, dumb news. Oh, and the pure joy I get from Johnny Fox giving, for his birthday, giving me such a great surprise of him announcing his gayness and all.
So he gave you a gift on his birthday.
And he was ready to give that tranny a gift, but I guess we'll never know now.
Oh boy.
Broke his little heart.
Yeah. Well, that's a gift that really none of us need.
You know, everybody should pray for Johnny Fox. He got his heart broken by a tranny. You can relate, right?
I mean,
he's like, yes to the heartbreak, no to the tranny.
Exactly.
So it's relatable, see?
Partly, but not really.
So, we got bits and bones, we got books, we got songs. What are we doing, Sam?
Well, we do have Bits and Bones on Friday. More, what are we covering on Bits and Bones this week?
Honestly, I don't know, but I'm sure there'll be something crazy that comes up. Right now, people are, for whatever reason, really stroking Asher Sharma off.
I was gonna say video games.
Wait, they're struggling. More, we're not
they're stroking the female CEO of Xbox off right now, saying she's doing good, which I don't buy it.
We're not. Whoa, we're not that type of show, though, buddy.
Well, why not? Maybe you could get some more viewers.
Why not, Sam?
Sadly, we probably should. Sadly, we probably could get more viewers.
I mean, if you were stroking off the CEO of Microsoft, I'm sure you would get more viewers.
I mean, you used to show feet, Sam.
That was a long time ago.
Yes, but people like feet. People would pay for feet.
And yet to this day, no one will answer my question of why. Why do people like feet?
Because nobody understands it.
Because they're broken mentally and physically. Because they like dick. I don't know, Sam.
I mean, everyone in Hollywood is a little weird. So, but
and a little gay.
But a
little Jewish.
But basically, Bits and Bones Friday night. We're not really sure what we're gonna cover.
10:05 p.m.
Cover. Saturday night will probably be WRTO.
Well, we're definitely releasing music every Friday, perhaps starting this Friday, but definitely next Friday. I'm going to put another one out this week. It might not come out on Friday, but then I'm going to start scheduling So we'll have new music Friday from Right to Offend every week, pretty much through the summer, if I can help it.
Based.
And WRTO, she's got that new serial killer painting that she was doing. And we got plenty of new music. We keep putting them out. She is going to be putting out her first single soon. And check out both of our Sunos at Blame Maxad and at Backseed Sad. And that's that. Maybe a new cringe coffee house over the new developments in the Johnny Fox case. But I already went over all of it here. It's just going to be like an hour and a half of me gloating about how gay he is. So if that sounds fun.
Worth it.
Yep. Worth it. I will tune in for that.
I'm probably going to write a song for the occasion that's a bit more explicit than I have been, you know, something to the effect of Johnny Fox is a homosexual.
Mm-hmm. Monday there will be an interview of some sort. I'm just waiting for potential guests to get back to me. And yeah, then we'll be back here next week. So
That's right.
Anyway, thanks for coming out, everyone, and yeah. We'll see you next week. So thanks for tuning in, everyone.
The right to offend is not some pesky little part of freedom of speech that we have to put up with. It is the heart and soul and lungs of freedom of speech. It is the coursing lifeblood of human progress. It is the instigator of liberty and modernity and science and understanding. What a laughing stock today's student leaders are, that they can so casually dismiss the right to be offensive without realizing that their lovely, enlightened lives are the gift of individuals who gave offense. Offensiveness is not just something we have to begrudgingly accept. Offensiveness is the motor of human progress.
Thank you for watching the Whitfield Report live on the Right to Offend Media Network. Make sure to check out Sam's books on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. You can follow Sam on X at SamW_NGC and the Right to Offend Media Network at RTO Media. Like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. And until next time, God bless, God save this